68. The president and Democratic congressional leaders clashed again at the White House.
Democrats abruptly departing what was supposed to be an urgent convening to address the deteriorating situation in Syria. Now, immediately after, the president took to Twitter to blast Speaker Pelosi, saying she had a total meltdown in the White House today. It was very sad to watch. Pray for her. She is a very sick person.
Well, Pelosi, that's Fox's Griff Jenkins. Well, Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer say it was the president who melted down.
It was insulting, particularly to the speaker. She kept her cool completely.
Well, the meeting happened after the House voted 354 to 60 to pass a resolution opposing President Trump's decision to pull U.S. troops back from a border area of Syria. His critics say it was a green light for Turkey to go in to attack Kurdish forces who were U.S. allies in the fight against ISIS, but he calls his decision
strategically brilliant. Our soldiers are out of there. Our soldiers are totally safe.
Vice President Pence, Secretary of State Pompeo traveled all night to Turkey for talks, hoping to get a ceasefire. Kids in Chicago will sleep in. There's no school because teachers will go on strike this morning. America's listening to Fox News.
43 degrees at 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago public school teachers are officially on strike. CTU President Jesse Sharkey saying it's up to Mayor Lightfoot, he believes, to decide how long this work stoppage will last.
We intend to be on strike until someone comes with good faith and where we can earnestly say that looks like a solution to us. That's going to really make conditions better, not just something that's going to appease us and get us back in the door. That's not what we're looking for.
Thousands of educators hit picket lines around 6:30 this morning. Last major teachers' strike in Chicago was 2012. Meantime, CPS says they'll be providing resources to students during the strike. Mayor Lightfoot saying all buildings will be open to students during their normal bell schedules.
All CPS schools will serve free breakfast and lunch, as well as supper to take home. And to ensure the safety and well-being of our students, CPS administrative office staff will be assigned to schools as needed.
Chicago Public Library, Chicago Park District's units, and other community partner sites will also be open. CTA transportation will be made available to students free of charge. The Addison Teachers Association this morning says they have recently overwhelmingly voted to authorize a strike. The ATA has 327 members. ATA's current contract in Addison expired June 30th. District 4 there serves over 4,000 students. Meantime, Triton College mid-manager employees have voted overwhelmingly through their union to authorize a strike at that college in River Grove. Chicago Park District employees will not be walking picket lines. They have reached a tentative contract agreement. The district and Service Employees International Union Local 73 reached a deal late Tuesday, avoiding a work stoppage for about 2,400 workers. It's 5:04 on AM 560, The Answer, and here are other stories we're following this morning. Chicago aldermen are signing off on Mayor Lightfoot's marijuana zoning rules, creating an ordinance that puts 7 zones into place across Chicago. Much of the downtown area bans dispensaries. Tensions remain high over a proposed addiction treatment center in Itasca. Hundreds of residents packed Lake Park High School last night to discuss plans for that drug treatment facility. Rich East High School in Park Forest will close. Rich Township High School District 227 board members voted to shut down the school as a result of decreasing enrollment. The district moving forward with plans to consolidate Rich East students into Rich Central in Olympia Fields and Rich South in Richton Park, and then spend about $100 million repairing and renovating and expanding the 2 remaining schools. A boxer is dead just days after being knocked cold during a fight in Chicago over the weekend. Boxing promoter Lou DiBella announcing Patrick Day had died yesterday from a traumatic brain injury he suffered during Saturday's bout against Charles Conwell at Wintrust Arena. This morning, the Adams County Health Department has some questions to answer about what it knew about the 2015 Legionnaires outbreak at the Veterans Home in Quincy. A report saying the Health Department and the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs both received subpoenas in the criminal investigation into how the outbreak was handled. 15 people died because of the outbreak at the home, and the grand jury is looking to see if there was a cover-up or any other crime. Bulls wrapping up preseason play tonight when they host the Hawks. The Bulls' starting lineup is set, by the way. Zach LaVine and Tomas Satoransky will be in the backcourt. Satoransky beating out Chris Dunn and rookie Kobe White for the starting point guard spot. Blackhawks welcome the Blue Jackets tomorrow to the UC. Bears and Saints Sunday. We may see Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. The news service of Discover. Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically with no limit to how much they'll match. Millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. Discover Cashback Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/cashbackmatch. 5:06, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes every society needs norms.
The notion that society can have norms is very important. And what the left does is chaos. They hate freedom and they hate order. Any society needs it, because when the guardrails are broken, there's chaos and bad things will happen.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest-growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Panera, get breakfast that's fast, not fast food. Try a new Chipotle chicken scrambled egg and avocado breakfast wrap and pair it with a premium freshly ground, freshly brewed coffee. All ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be.
5:09. Let's get an update on the early morning roads in the AM 560 traffic center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
CTA Blue Line trains are running with some residual delays after there was an unauthorized person on the tracks at Western. Trains are getting back on schedule. The outbound Kennedy has stop-and-go traffic Sayre past Harlem. This is overnight construction of the 2 right lanes. Right now, we're just looking at a 2 or 3 minute delay. Inbound Stevenson traffic hits the brakes central to Pulaski. Work at the 2 right lanes. Again, about a 2 minute delay here. 36 minutes, 355 Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37, traffic slowing down from Parliament past First Avenue. 2 right lanes are blocked there as well. Reagan Tollway westbound after 47, there's a crash left lane. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
At 5:10 on AM 560, The Answer. Dan and Amy will certainly have the update on the death of Maryland American Representative Elijah Cummings, who died overnight at Johns Hopkins Hospital at the age of 68. Let's turn our attention to the weather this morning from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Partial sunshine today, high 55. It'll be clear tonight, low 39. A partly sunny day tomorrow, the high 59. And then partly cloudy for tomorrow night, low 45. A passing shower Saturday, the high 62. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
43 at O'Hare, 45 Lakefront, 38 this morning in Aurora. And your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So a couple of important notes of breaking news in the last hour. Mike Scott mentioned it. Maryland Representative Elijah Cummings, Democrat, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, passing away at the age of 68. The report that it was complications from a long-standing health problem.
Yeah, and April Ryan was on CNN about an hour ago, and she said that he had heart complications. And she said she knew that there was something wrong in September when he didn't show up for a Congressional Black Caucus meeting. But that's all that we know so far. But that's shocking. I mean, I didn't know he was sick. Did you know he was sick?
No, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that he was gravely ill. That's for certain. Health complications or health issues for a 68-year-old. But no, I didn't know that. So that's unfortunate. On the good news front, you've got what appears to be a deal by Britain with the EU to Brexit. Finally, Boris Johnson announcing that. Now he's got to bring it back to the Parliament in the UK for approval, and we'll see how that proceeds. But that should be good news for the markets. That should be good news for the possibility to get a trade deal done with the UK, as Trump and Boris Johnson both said would be done once Brexit occurred back at the G8 summit. A couple of months back, or it seems like a couple of months ago. I don't know. I lose track of time. So we'll tackle those topics as more information becomes available. Certainly we'll get back to Brexit this morning. But, of course, the big story locally, which is a national story anytime a teacher strike of this magnitude occurs, is the Chicago teachers are on the picket line this morning.
Yes, they are. So I was talking to my teacher friends yesterday. I'm like, hey, because they all have been ordered to come in at 6:30 this morning to start walking the lines. And a lot of them don't want to be on strike, Dan. That's the thing.
Is that earlier than they get in normally for their workday?
No, it's about the same. Well, they're supposed to be an hour before, so 7. But yeah, they have to walk the picket lines, and I was hoping that it was going to be raining this morning.
Wow.
Because I know that sounds heartless and cold, but this strike is just, I know I'm being selfish, but when it comes to sports, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And that is the purpose of K through 12 education.
No,
is the
it's
sports
not.
programs.
But when you have a sports program that makes a playoff game or the playoffs, and if they don't get back to work by October 27th, then they're going to have to forfeit their first round of the championship. Or the playoffs, I should say. Here's Allison Rosati.
Now to the impact on students and student athletes. One CPS mom we spoke with today is concerned about her 2 sons' football careers, how they could be affected by the strike. They both play football for Evanston High School, and they are standout players. The team is on a hot streak right now with its best record in 2 decades. They're 6-1.
They need to play this game, absolutely.
Just like in life as well as football, things are going to happen that you're not prepared for, but it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it.
The Amundsen Vikings had to move tomorrow's game to today so that they could get it before the strike and still be eligible for the playoff.
I'm so glad NBC5 was able to pick up your press release about the Amundsen football team. This is a great local news reporting. This must be... And thank you for that. It's a reminder why I haven't watched the network affiliate news in about 2 decades.
No. Well, they wanted to personalize stories and who it affected. So I introduced them to Juanita Askew, who has 2 sons on the team.
It shouldn't have gotten this far. You know, like everyone knew that these negotiations needed to take place when the school year started. Like by now, it should have been taken care of.
And all CTU is doing is sending Lori Lightfoot a message that they're in charge and not her. Because everything that they offer, they like, except for they want nurses at every school instead of just 1 day a week or sometimes 2 days a week. And that's what the issue is.
It's more than that. It's social workers, it's nurses, it's blank checks, it's control the schools, it's no school closings. It's the whole thing. It's it is exactly as you say, we are in charge as we have always been in charge and will remain in charge. And just because we didn't support you in the election doesn't mean that our status as the party in charge has changed at all. And of course, Lori the Lightfoot is playing right along with that, much like Tiny Dancer did, talking tough for a while, now offering conciliatory notes. And all of this is just more of the appeasement of an organization that has destroyed K through 12 education in Chicago with a lot of help. Yeah. But since they're in charge, we start there. Let's go rank order priority. And this is why nobody with the means, virtually nobody with the means to send their kids to a school other than a Chicago public school, if it's not a magnet school or a charter school, does. And this is why people, when they're having families, leave for the suburbs if they're going to stay in Chicagoland to take their kids to school out there, because, of course, there's no way on God's green earth I'm sending my kids to CPS school. And if I can't afford the tuition or I can't get them into Peyton or a few of the other magnet schools, then we're out of here because there's no way the neighborhood schools suffice. This is a long-running conspiracy to destroy the future of children in Chicago, overwhelmingly minority, and no one cares.
No one cares.
And so nothing has changed from, what was it, 6-7 years ago now?
It was 7 years ago.
The last
and it
strike?
was a 7-day strike.
Nothing's changed. This is exactly the same conversation we had, you here, me at WLS, exactly the same conversation we had 7 years ago. And to go 15 years back from there and 15 years back from there. I mean, maybe some people who actually grew up in Chicago and went to these schools back when they were something much different 3 and 4 generations ago still have some fealty for their alma mater. But in terms of anything that's happened since I was an adult, this is just rinse and repeat failure. Make it bigger. Make it more expensive. But you're producing the same terrible product and preventing most of these kids from even the opportunity to earn the kind of education that will prepare them for success in life, whether it's going on to post-secondary, whether it's going into the workforce. And all this talk is about how much everybody cares about the kids. You can't even, I will say it again, because why not? We're having the same conversation. The only thing different from 7 years ago is now we know there's also this wide-ranging sex abuse scandal that has been raging inside CPS that also no one cares about and no one talks about except the Chicago Tribune investigative team that did this report, and good for them.
Where
are the trial lawyers? Where are the trial lawyers to go after the deep pockets CPS? Where are the politicians? Where are the parents? Where are the teachers and administrators that talk so much about how they're so in this for the kids and so selfless, and they won't tolerate these kids getting shortchanged, but they'll tolerate them getting sexually abused? Or are we going to hear the one-off argument? 500 cases plus over just the last decade? But it's all about class sizes and the quality of education, because the quality of education is so outstanding. What about the quality of the teacher's education? What about the quality of the teachers? I don't know. I mean, 2 decades ago, talk about conversations we've been having for that period of time. 2 decades ago, the Sun-Times of all socialist rags did a story that 1 in 10 CPS teachers couldn't pass a basic skills test so simple that a high school freshman should be able to pass it. That's 10%. That's 3,000 teachers, 2,500 now. Where's that stand now? Now they won't even administer the basic skills test. Why is that? Why is that?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Robert in Oak Brook.
Well, Dan, you hit one thing. Everybody in my family is a teacher. But it's one class size. Back when I was a kid, it was hard enough to teach 25 kids. Now you got 40 kids in the class.
Bull jive.
And you are right about
crap.
the teachers. No, Dan, you're right about the teachers. A lot of them, when you hear them on the news, they can't even say the word "and." They go "eh." If you can't understand your teacher, how are you going to learn anything?
Okay, Robert, thanks for the call. And I hate to be tough on you, but I've heard these arguments before. The class size is spurious. First of all, class sizes were bigger historically.
Right. They're smaller now.
Right.
As more people are fleeing the city and leaving CPS.
You also have enrollment that has shrunk. The entire system is getting smaller. School populations are getting smaller. This overrun by students. Nonsense. Also, in classic CPS central planning fashion, to the extent that the research shows class size matters, where does it matter? Where does it matter, since everybody is an education expert and is poured through all the scholarship? Raise Your Hand Coalition, somebody from that dingbat organization, call in, tell us where it matters. The teachers union, any teacher, any administrator, CPS, any CPS parent, tell me where it matters. Do you know the research? Does anybody? They may pay attention, or just repeat the talking points you hear from political hacks and union bosses. I'm not going to tell you. Class size matters in some place in K through 12 education. And where it matters is exactly where we have the biggest class sizes in CPS, and where it doesn't matter is where you have the smallest. Because everything is upside down in CPS. I've used this example before. I used it with Karen Lewis 7 years ago during the last teacher strike. Let me ask you something. If this is all about the kids and their education, what about the curriculum? We have known for 30 years that kids best learn foreign languages where. Does anybody know that?
Oh, first 3 year, kindergarten, first grade, second grade.
Primary grades.
Primary grades, yeah.
Where are most foreign languages taught still today?
In high school.
Why?
I don't know why.
Exactly, because it's
makes
reversed.
no sense.
Because it's convenient. Because if we had to change anything, that'd be difficult because change is hard. But we're real concerned about the kids. How about science? What do we know for 30 years of research about how kids best learn science, since we're so STEM-oriented these days, right? Everybody's so avant-garde, at least to hear them talk. What's the first science class? What's the order of progression of science at the high school level? What's the science class most people take? Most freshmen take? First. Freshman.
Biology.
Right. And that's the third in the continuum. That's what it should be. That's first. We know it should be a physical science class, then chemistry, then biology. That's what we know about how kids best learn science. And CPS does it in reverse order. Why? Why? Because they care about kids. Bunch of crap.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Improving your home? Why not make it easy? Don't miss the free Home and Garden Show this weekend only at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake. Find the ultimate in savings and convenience with thousands of the latest home products and services for the freshest ideas to remodel, repair, and beautify your home, inside and out. Get trusted advice on your upcoming projects as you speak with local and national experts who will help you with all your home improvement needs. And be sure to attend the free expert seminars and see live product demonstrations all weekend. Create an outdoor oasis with the latest in pools and hot tubs by P&W Spas. The finest in outdoor furniture from By the Yard. Then top it off with custom metal palm trees by Designer Palms. Plus, see the latest technology in robotic mowers and snowblowers. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor. You'll find it all at the Home and Garden Show this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake with free admission and free parking. For details, visit LakeCountyHomeshow.com. That's LakeCountyHomeshow.com.
I got the Giza cotton sheets yesterday or 2 days ago, put them on the bed. It's really amazing. You don't have to buy expensive Egyptian cotton sheets at the department store. Just go to MyPillow.com, type in Amy, A-M-Y, and you'll get 30% off those sheets that come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. And right now, Mike Lindell is offering deep discounts on all MyPillow products. He wants to give back to the listeners who helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. MyPillow.com, 30% off mattress toppers, pet beds, Giza cotton sheets, and more. Go to MyPillow.com to look at all the great deals. MyPillow.com, and when you check out, put Amy in that promo code.
ADP isn't just in the payroll business. We're in the people business, helping companies find them, train them, and empower them by clearing the way for them to do their best work. Because when your people thrive, your business thrives with them. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll. Informed by data and designed for people, so you and your company can achieve what you're working for. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Limu, I love how we're always looking out for each other. Kind of like how Liberty Mutual looks out for you by customizing your home insurance. So you only pay for what you need.
Limu, why didn't you tell me about the uncovered manhole? I was literally just telling you. Limu, I had no idea you could swim.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Hey, do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. Permaseal hears story after story of homeowners say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't want your living room or bedroom getting wet, do you? Then why settle with a wet basement? You can have a permanently dry basement. Just give them a call at 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Roy Spencer started Permaseal back in 1979, and guess what? It's still a local Chicagoland family business doing the right thing and standing behind their work. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all of the time, you know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or go to permaseal.net.
AM 560, The Answer.
Just a quick financial picture here, snapshot from CPS. I mean, since we're 2012 all over again, let's just update the numbers from the same conversation we had 7 years ago. This from Truth in Accounting. Total assets for Chicago Public Schools, $9.6 billion.
Okay.
Total bills, $19 billion. In point of fact, in terms of its liquidity, CPS has $2.7 billion available to pay $19.8 billion worth of bills. That's $18,900 per Chicago taxpayer. That's $17 billion shortfall. That's because CPS has overspent the budget 15 years straight by about $6.5 billion. And just continues to borrow against tomorrow to pay for yesterday at the rates that a junk-rated borrower would get. And I'm sorry, they want what in terms of raises, and what in terms of staff increases and the salaries and benefits associated with that? And where's Lori Lightfoot even to kind of come up with the money that she offered, much less what they are demanding? It's tough. It's a tough situation when there are no serious people in charge on either side of the bargaining table, isn't it? In addition to that, when taxpayers aren't represented at the bargaining table. But again, those taxpayers chose this dynamic. And so they're going to get what they so richly deserve. Everybody deserves everything except criticism. I got it. Everybody deserves a blank check. And Chicago taxpayers, Illinois taxpayers that underwrite CPS seem to be fine with this. Okay. So we'll just keep doing it over and over again. It's Groundhog Day.
Well, what Lori Lightfoot did yesterday I thought was pretty bold. She canceled school before CTU even took a strike vote. So I know teachers were not happy with that because she made the first move. Yesterday when she had a press conference around this time or around 9 a.m., she canceled school proactively before they took their strike vote.
Wow.
Well,
that's so impressive. I mean, she's like Dwight D. Eisenhower. Winston Churchill, Lori Lightfoot. Wow.
It's about the children, Dan.
Paradigm shifting. I'm inspired. Oh, you're right. This time it's going to be different. My hope springs eternal for CPS.
It's about the kids.
This is about me. It's not about a power struggle. It's about our kids, and we cannot lose sight of that.
Wow, I've never heard that before. I'm so persuaded. It's all going to be different this time. I promise. Let's get back together. Christ's sake.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we're going to talk more about this. And Megyn Kelly returns. She made an appearance last night with Tucker Carlson. Has some very interesting information about NBC. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
43 degrees. And before we update the strike situation with CPS, we want to update you on breaking stories in the newsroom. Dan and Amy have told you about these this morning. Congressman Elijah Cummings has passed away. The Maryland Democrat was 68. A tweet from the political heavyweight's office says he died this morning at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. You may recall that Cummings serving as chairman of the House Oversight Committee, one of the committees overseeing the current impeachment inquiry of President Trump. Negotiators from the UK have reached an agreement with officials in Brussels and the EU that could pave the way for Britain to finally break its 46-year ties to the Union this month. The withdrawal agreement was completed just in time for EU leaders to assess it when they gather for summit talks at the Belgian capital. Later in the day, the deal then needs to win backing of the UK Parliament on Saturday. Chicago Public School teachers are officially on strike. CTU President Jesse Sharkey says it's up to Mayor Lightfoot now.
We intend to be on strike until someone comes with good faith and where we can earnestly say that looks like a solution to us. That's going to really make conditions better, not just something that's going to appease us and get us back in the door. That's not what we're looking for.
Union leaders will vote today on a tentative contract agreement reached with General Motors to perhaps end that auto workers' strike now in its fifth week. More than 330 people worldwide are facing charges in what federal officials call the takedown of the largest darknet child pornography website. The Justice Department saying the site offered more than 250,000 videos of children being sexually abused. And strike updates here in the local area. In Addison, where the Teachers Association voted overwhelmingly to authorize a strike that could impact over 4,000 students. And Triton College's mid-manager employees have voted overwhelmingly through their union to authorize a strike at the school in River Grove. Chicago Park District employees will not be going on strike after reaching a tentative contract agreement. The district and SEIU reached a deal late on Tuesday. And Rich East High School in south suburban Park Forest will close. Rich Township High School District 227 board members voting to shut down the school as a result of decreasing enrollment and consolidating those students with Rich Central and Rich South. Bulls wrap up preseason play tonight when they host the Hawks. 5:35 is our time. Check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The mainstream media wants to divide Americans into neat little groups, and they want you to believe that everyone in each of those groups thinks alike. John Anthony and Charles Love are here to blow up that lie. Join them for Black and Right this Saturday at 1 p.m. when they expose the lies of the media and the hypocrisy of the left and have fun doing it. It's Black and Right this Saturday at 1 p.m. right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Got tax problems? Want to get the IRS off of your ASS? Whether you are an individual or a business and are having problems with the IRS, let PJN Tax Solutions Group help you solve your problems. PJN Tax Solutions Group specializes in providing affordable solutions to business and individuals who, for whatever reason, find themselves at odds with the IRS. We will represent you in front of the IRS, allowing you to continue on with your life. You will not have to speak with an IRS agent. PJN Tax Solutions Group puts experts to work to solve your tax problems quickly and affordably. We offer a free consultation to review your case and explain your options. Would you go to court without an attorney? Then why would you represent yourself before the IRS? Call PJN Tax Solutions Group today at 630-415-5296 or visit our website at pjntaxsolutions.com. PJN Tax Solutions Group. Call us when you want the IRS off your ASS.
I'm Gary Rabine of the Rabine Group and the podcast Ditch Digger CEO. One of my favorite things to do is golf at our exclusive Bull Valley Golf Club in Woodstock. Just 55 minutes northwest of O'Hare and 35 minutes south of Lake Geneva. 5 minutes from the Metro line. 250 acres of amazing terrain, oak and red pine forest, native prairie and marsh. It feels like you played 4 different courses in 18 holes. Golf Digest rated Bull Valley the 30th most challenging championship-style golf course in America. One of the best courses in Illinois, and the track the best golfers want to play. Good golfers, Bull Valley will make you great. Bad golfers like me, Bull Valley will make you better. A world-class staff and 2 amazing teaching pros, simulators, and a beautiful instructional range. I've got the greatest offer on the planet in private championship golf. If you live in or near Chicago, join our Chicago membership in the next 10 days and get 18 months for $2,500. You heard it, $2,500 to be a member until April 2021. Email Gary at bullvalleygolfclub.com and play championship golf tomorrow. That's Gary at bullvalleygolfclub.com.
537 on AM 560. Perhaps today we'll have a calm day in the traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Inbound Stevenson, traffic is stop and go from Harlan to Central. There's overnight road construction still blocking 2 right lanes there. We're looking at 40 minutes, 355 Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine at 34 after the outbound construction cleared. Edens is fine. The Kennedy clear now after overnight work wrapped up. Inbound Eisenhower traffic tight 1st Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue. 30 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. Inbound Ride, got a 1 or 2 minute delay from Roosevelt into the Burns Circle. Bishop Ford, about a 3-minute delay from 111th to the Merge. I-57 looks good. Reagan Tollway eastbound at 47. The left lane is blocked after a crash. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, partly sunny today. 55, clear and a low of 39 overnight. It's 43 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
See Michelle Malkin, Sean Hannity, and Laura Logan at Freedom Summit 2019. Tickets on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Britain is leaving the EU, and productive Illinois families continue to leave Illinois. You don't have a school system in Chicago, without people. Talked about this story the other week. In 2018, nearly 1 in 10 City of Chicago property owners didn't pay property taxes. They just didn't pay. Because they can't, they don't want to, some combination of the two, as property taxes have destroyed the value of people's homes. And those are disproportionately in the poorer neighborhoods.
And you said business owners, too, were just not paying their property taxes.
Yeah. You have some people going galt. Come and get it. Nobody will. Come and buy it. Nobody will. What about in the areas that actually underwrite City of Chicago and Chicago Public School operations? You know, the half a dozen wards that produce most of the revenue, the 250,000 people that prop up a city of 2.7 million. You think that's sustainable? Less and less so each day. What's their interest in Chicago? People that are getting by or even doing well. Interesting piece from a local outlet, Loop North News. Veteran residential brokers call it a crickets market. As property taxes skyrocket, home sales in Chicago have plummeted. The sound of silence is all that can be heard in much of the city's early autumn home buying market. Veteran residential brokers call it a crickets market. Several of the top city real estate brokers in downtown and northside neighborhoods saying their open houses went vastly unattended. Quote, "We have many attractive multi-million-dollar condo and mansion listings, and there currently appears to be little to no interest by affluent would-be purchasers in even taking a tour." This write-up by Don DeBat at this Loop North News. There's radio silence throughout the city and suburbs, from downtown Chicago to Lake Forest, Oak Park to St. Charles. The only properties that are moving are priced under $500,000, observed 3 city and suburban brokers. The demand is strong for mid-priced homes and two to four flats and a few ultra-expensive condos. But the existing inventory time for properties with more than 3,000 square feet is 3 times that of those with properties with less than 3,000 square feet. By the way, even at that price point, $500,000 and down, as we've documented here for, I don't know, years, you can get out, you can move your property, but it's not going to be at a profit. You're lucky you get to sell to minimize your ongoing losses, where those in the upper reaches of the market are just watching their equity and consequently home value whittled away on a daily basis, and they can't get out unless they want to, try to find the bottom of what it would actually take to move a 7-figure property or even a high 6-figure property.
Yeah. Well, there's a house across the street from me. Had an open house. 1 person showed up. 1. Because it's way overpriced and nobody wants to pay the taxes on that thing.
I thought that I was just spewing right-wing talking points when we were talking about math and the actual market on the ground, but apparently some real estate professionals are backing what I've been saying and some other people have been saying for years. Tried to communicate during election seasons to no avail. Okay. Phil Chiricati, editor of Data Analytics, Illinois, quote, "While the wealthy have an abundance of world-class choices, they're also facing a fiscal crisis, a cap on tax deductions, excessive property taxes, ballooning assessments, and a higher transfer tax on luxury sales." Yeah. What are we going to tell our sellers? One principal at a brokerage firm recently said at one of the closed-door roundtable meetings that brokerage firms are having to figure out what the hell to do. Buyers are worried about a graduated city income tax, growing concerns over the next economic contraction, a big increase in luxury rentals, meaningful new construction, and reduced foreign buying. I've never seen the city home market this slow, even during the Great Recession of 2008, observed another veteran Northside broker. And I'm sorry, what's the plan coming from City Hall? Graduate property taxes? Continue to spend beyond your means, issuing the desire to issue blank checks, which will not be accepted yet per the strike. Blank checks to the Chicago Teachers Union and to the other unions. From wirepoints.com, this excellent 4-part series that our friend Ted Dabrowski and his colleague John Klingner did on the exodus from Illinois. In 2016, Illinois lost more than 9,200 tax filers earning $200,000 or more, while only 4,700 such filers moved into Illinois. The net result was a loss of more than 4,500 wealthy Illinois tax filers, many of those in Chicago. On a net basis, Illinois lost more wealthy residents per capita than any other state in the nation except New York in 2016. That's a small share of the people lost out migration, but of course, because they're high earners, they're responsible for the largest share of the income that Illinois is losing to other states. Yeah. 11% of the net tax filers who left is what they represent, but they accounted for more than half of the $5 billion net loss in adjusted gross income in 2016. These 11% of high-income filers accounting for half, $2.5 billion of adjusted gross income net loss to the state. Is that a pro-growth environment, do you think? That going to help prop up the housing markets? Underwrite one of all of these wonderful government enterprises and services that we like to lead with in this government-centric city and state. Jim in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan, I'll tell you what. You know what? We sold our house years ago. I'm renting, and you know what? I still pay the taxes. I'm paying my taxes for my kids, through my landlord to get the A plus. My kids are getting all A's in the best schools in the state of Illinois. Okay, that's not to say the nation, but I'll tell you this. This misnomer that of home ownership. You don't own your home. If you don't once you pay it off from the bank, or you think, oh, okay, I'm gonna have a mortgage, I'm gonna pay it off from the bank, I own my home. No, the state owns it. Okay?
Now, you know who actually owns it?
Unless you pay your taxes, they're going to come get it.
Yeah, the good news is nobody wants to buy it at auction. But here's the thing. You know who actually owns it? I mean, it functionally owns it? The public sector unions. Because your home is collateral for their pension. That's all it is. It's collateral for their pension. The state takes your home and puts it up as collateral for somebody else's public sector pension. That's what's actually happening. So thanks for the call, Jim. I mean, I get what you're saying. You're exactly right. I'm just saying it in a different way, more specifically. But that's the deal. Marvin in Burlington, Wisconsin.
Yeah, good morning. Nice to talk to you again. I just wondered how courageous Lori Lightfoot is. I mean, Chicago's having trouble attracting people. I have an idea. Maybe they should de-charter the Chicago public schools, de-charter the union, take it off the books completely, let private schools come in, pay them, and they run it like academies. Separate the boys from the girls, which always helps academically, uniforms, and run it that way. Get rid of all the lunacy of the curricula that they want to foist on people at, I want to say Pershing role, but I know they're not there anymore. Get rid of the whole administrative staff, everything, and start from scratch. Let's just see how courageous she is. And I bet you'd have people coming from, hey, Chicago's redoing their schools. They're going to start over, start from scratch, a whole new program.
Thanks for the call, Marvin. Candace in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Hey, I started tutoring. Good morning, by the way. I started tutoring kids that are 4th and 5th grade. That's the grade that they wanted me to tutor. I'm not going to say with whom or whatnot. But let me tell you something. These kids, in reading and writing, it's like a plague. They don't want to read and write because of their stupid phones and notebooks. I'm telling you, if I was a parent, I would burn those things. There needs to be powwows where parents actually get rid of all that stuff. It's like a cancer to them, the reading, okay, because they're so uncomfortable with it and they're so slow at it. 4th and 5th grade kids up here in Racine, Kenosha area are reading, the kids that I'm meeting, second grade level easily, first grade level, some of them. Most of them is like a second grade level. Math, oh my God, Common Core has destroyed these kids. Okay, they're doing like the math, they are struggling with. This is the easiest math. I was doing this math in second, third grade, okay? So I'm shocked, and it just makes my blood boil, okay, because these kids are so great. And I think that what we're doing is, I think that we need to start going straight to the parents and handing out flyers and stuff, just like I work on campaigns. I am tempted to take that article that I sent you last night, Dan Prock, from the Epic Times, and distribute stuff like that, because I think the parents, it's not even about these unions anymore. So what was the whole point of the public schools to begin with? And like, what is their whole angle? I think that you need to plant the seed in the parents, because they keep talking about all these things to distract them, when really it's not about education at all. It's about collectivism. And if the kids don't have an education, they're just a subject. And I don't think the parents really realize what's going on. That's what's really going on. It's so insidious. They don't want the kids to be smart. They don't want them to be able to read, because if they can, they're going to be independent one day and not need the government.
Thanks for the call, Candace. Ed in Oak Brook.
Yeah, you know what? I could end this strike in about 1 hour, because all I would say, we're just going to file bankruptcy. I would offer them a 20% pay cut, and I would make them pay half of their pension and all of that good stuff, because once you threaten bankruptcy, you know what? They're going to fall in line, because they're going to be in line with every other creditor for the school system, even the city. So just say we're going bankrupt, and then let's see how they melt before that, because right now it's none of their money. And that's why they just throw it back out there to those teachers.
Well, thanks for the call, Ed. Unfortunately, Chicago would need to get state authorization to file for bankruptcy, reorganization, bring in an emergency manager like Detroit did. So,
have we reached that point?
Yeah, we reached it long ago. But does anybody have the courage to do that? I mean, here's the thing: bankruptcy, PATCO, the teachers. Hold the line on the salaries and benefits, make them contribute more to their pensions, voucherize, scholarship-ize the whole system. Yeah, sure. Now, these are not new ideas. They've been thought about. They've been debated. There is no political will to do anything other than try to keep the scam going. So you're pretending that people are befuddled as to what we should do. Like they're trying to get to a plausible solution that is actually in the interests of the mission, which is to educate children. They're not. The system is for the adults. To the extent any kid comes out of CPS prepare for success at the next level of the workforce, that's accidental, or he would have anyway. I mean, if you don't understand what the end game is, and Candace got close to it, then you can't comprehend what's going on or why it's going on. The why it's going on is because they're not interested in the mission you think they should pursue. They're not interested in the stated goals of the system. They're interested in political power, their ideological agenda, and oh, by the way, let's make sure we all have financial security while we prosecute the case and groom the kids to be good little leftists. JP in Northwest Indiana.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Love you guys. Love your show. I just want to point out in Northwest Indiana, on average, teachers make about $45K a year. Guess who's going to work today?
Thanks, JP. Here in Illinois, we got a new state law that says teachers can't make less than 40. Oh, teachers, we can't get good teachers because of the compensation's too low. No, lie. Just another lie. Lies upon lies upon lies. People buy them. That's why you keep receiving them. And you vote for the liars. Oh, this is so awful. I'm tired of being lied to. Well, then stop voting for liars. No, I don't want to. Okay. Well, don't complain about being lied to. I don't know. You got to pick your poison there, apparently. Speaking of Northwest Indiana, did you see this? Piece of the Northwest Indiana Times. Welcoming Midland Metal Products, formerly of 700 South Wabash in Chicago since 1921. Just moved from Bridgeport to Hammond. Made a $7 million investment in a 112,000 square foot plant in Hammond, expanding by 15,000 square feet its footprint, adding powder coating and printing operations, employing 135 workers, and still hiring. Yeah, the company faced too much uncertainty about its costs in Illinois. So, as the principal said, company president Marcus McDonald, this location in Hammond and this facility were the perfect solution. And the chorus continues to sing, and no one listens.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Is your child falling behind academically? Is he overwhelmed, distracted, or unable to focus? Does your daughter lack confidence? It's not too late to consider the outstanding education and preparation for life that St. John's Northwestern Military Academy offers. For 135 years, St. John's Northwestern has prepared teens for college and beyond within a safe, secure, and structured environment, free from distractions and optimal for learning. St. John's Northwestern attracts teens grades 7 through 12 who are capable of achieving more, but need guidance and encouragement to get there. They inspire personal growth through a commitment to academic, spiritual, and character development, athletics, and a strong foundation essential for critical thinking and decision-making. St. John's Northwestern is in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin, within driving distance of Chicago. Visit their beautiful 110-acre campus during their open house Friday, November 8th. Get more info at 1-800-SJ-CADET, 1-800-SJ-CADET, or online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. Leadership lives here.
This is Albert Mohler for townhall.com. CNN's recent Equality Town Hall was an earthquake, morally, politically, and culturally. In case you missed it, when Beto O'Rourke was asked if he would strip the tax exemption from religious organizations that hold what he considers to be the wrong view of marriage, he responded with an unequivocal and unconditional yes. Shortly after that, Beto O'Rourke then tweeted his own statement, making clear he was proud of it. Some on the left were extremely troubled, not because they disagreed with him, but because he let the cat out of the bag. Michael McGuff, senior editorial writer for the Los Angeles Times, ran a piece with a headline, Beto O'Rourke's church tax idea plays into conservative paranoia about same-sex marriage. Conservative paranoia? Conservative evangelicals are now called paranoid for listening to the words actually spoken by those who are running for president and being concerned about those words. That's not paranoia. That's called reality.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
Hi, it's Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson.
The boys from Crumweedy Home Pros.
Call Crumweedy! Yep, that's us.
Listen, we know it was a horrible winter,
followed by a horrible spring.
You may have held off thinking about getting your project done with the crazy weather we've had, but we want you to know we prepared for that.
Our pros are ready to work overtime if needed to get your project done before the next horrible winter.
No, not another rough winter. This past one was bad enough.
Call us today, and we'll get it done right, and we'll get it done now.
Call Crumweedy!
Whoa, guys, don't forget, we offer 12 months, same as cash. Now, go ahead, carry on.
Roofs, gutters, windows, and siding.
You know you can trust Crumweedy to do a great job and give you a fair price.
630-595-8020.
And watch out for the door-to-door fly-by-night guys. Here today, gone forever. You deserve better.
Call us now for special offers on roofs, windows, siding, and gutters.
Call Crumweedy!
630-595-8020.
Crumweedy Home Pros. We're ready.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
This is a Fox News alert. A key Democrat in the House impeachment inquiry has died. I'm Dave Anthony. Elijah Cummings died early this morning in Maryland from complications of health problems. He was chairman of the House Oversight Committee and said after the Mueller report came out in the spring,
"This is a critical moment
in our country's history.
But as the impeachment inquiry intensified recently,
Cummings had been out of Congress for about the last month due to medical procedures, and those of us who covered Cummings over the years have watched him struggle with these health issues in recent years. He used a walker to brace himself to stand, a motorized wheelchair to get around the Capitol.
That's Fox's Griff Jenkins. Reaction in Baltimore.
The first thing I did was cry. He's done a lot of great things for our city.
Now, the president controversially called out Cummings in July for representing a Baltimore district that was, as he tweeted, a disgusting rat-infested mess. Cummings was 68. Vice President Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo just arrived in Turkey, hoping to end the bombing of Kurds who had been U.S. allies in Syria.
Fox News obtained a letter written by President Trump to Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan on the day the offensive began. In the letter, Trump writes that Erdogan doesn't want to be responsible for slaughtering thousands of people. Today, Erdogan said he threw that letter in the trash.
Fox's Trey Yingston in Ankara. The morning after a meeting on Syria broke down at the White House. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Democrats said President Trump called House Speaker Nancy Pelosi a third-grade politician. They walked out of the meeting and returned to the Capitol, where Pelosi spoke to reporters.
I think now we have to pray for his health, because this was a very serious meltdown on the part of the president.
President Trump claims it was Pelosi who had the meltdown. He tweeted a photo of her standing up in the cabinet room during the confrontation. The meeting happened shortly after the House voted 354-60 to rebuke the president's decision to withdraw troops from Syria. Dave.
America's listening to Fox News.
43 degrees, 602 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago Public School teachers are officially on strike.
We intend to be on strike until someone comes with good faith and where we can earnestly say that looks like a solution to us. That's going to really make conditions better, not just something that's going to appease us and get us back in the door. That's not what we're looking for.
Educators hit the picket lines at 6:30 this morning. CPS says they'll be providing many resources to students during the strike.
All CPS schools will serve free breakfast and lunch, as well as supper to take home. And to ensure the safety and well-being of our students, CPS administrative office staff will be assigned to schools as needed.
In other news, Addison Teachers Association members voted overwhelmingly to authorize a strike. District 4 serves over 4,000 students. Meantime, Triton College's middle manager employees voted overwhelmingly through their union to authorize a strike at the school in River Grove. Chicago Park District employees will not be going on strike. They've reached a tentative contract deal with the mayor. Tensions remain high this morning over a proposed addiction treatment center in suburban Itasca. Hundreds of residents packed the gymnasium at Roselle's Lake Park High School last night to discuss the plan for the drug treatment facility. And a Chicago government watchdog critical of the investigation into the suspicious death of an off-duty police sergeant back in 2015. Investigators ruled Donald Markham committed suicide after he was found shot to death in his Northwest Side home. Inspector General Joe Ferguson's office released a report yesterday saying detectives mishandled that case, ignoring evidence, possibly implicating Markham's wife and fellow Chicago police officer Dina Markham in his death. Dina Markham was found dead in a bathtub in 2017. Bulls wrap up preseason play tonight when they host the Hawks. Blackhawks welcome the Blue Jackets tomorrow night to the UC. The news, a service of Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma, here's to progress. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigie's on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
When you fire up a John Deere 1 Series tractor, you can tackle the job without wrestling the attachments. Hook up everything from a front loader to a drive-over mower deck in no time. So you can haul gravel, cut grass, or do any job in between. Because when things just click, work just gets done. And now get a 1 Series for just $99 a month at your nearest participating John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Search John Deere 1 Series for more. 0% annual percentage rate. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
When it comes to keeping your small business's valuable information safe, Dell Small Business Technology Advisors can recommend tailored security solutions like servers, storage, networking. Plus, right now, get up to 45% off select business computers with Intel Core processors. Running your own small business is a big challenge, but with the right partner, it's a lot easier. To speak with an advisor today, call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Remember when you could pick up the phone and talk to a friendly voice for technical difficulties?
Yeah, now it's a help desk on the other side of the planet that knows nothing about my business and usually isn't much help at all.
I got stuck in a help chat room the other day, and it was endless back and forth. I don't think they ever really understood or cared about my issue.
It's tough to get great technical help these days. To find people that really care and invest in your success. That's what Turnkey IT does. And you can rely on them to take care of everything IT, as if they were right by your side, but without the expense of an in-house IT department. Get to know the local team members at Turnkey IT that continue to serve businesses just like yours, from 1 to 200 employees. A friendly face with a personal touch that's close by and believes your word really means something. For only $7.95 per month, you can have local IT help and forget about dealing with computer and network problems forever.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically, with no limit to how much they'll match. Millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. Discover Cash Back Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/cashbackmatch.
6:07 AM 560 Traffic Center time with Jim Talamonte.
Metro reports an early morning cancellation of train 306 on the Union Pacific North Line due to manpower issues. Kennedy inbound traffic is slow Cumberland to Central. It's 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 22, traffic congested on westbound 190 from River Road to the Tri-State. Inbound Eisenhower delays start at Wolf Road, 42 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Inbound Ryan, 23 minutes now from 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, ID to the Birch Bishop Port, 33 minutes. And eastbound Reagan tollway delays Roosevelt to the Eisenhower. The crash in the two left lanes. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist Steve Williams.
Partly sunny, windy, and cool today, the high 52. Partly cloudy, breezy, chilly tonight, low 36. For tomorrow and Friday, partly sunny, the high tomorrow 55. The high on Friday at 60. Showers on Saturday. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
At 6:08 on AM 560, it's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL, and time to check those temperatures. 43 at O'Hare, 45 Lakefront. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. Every Saturday morning at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. This hasn't gotten enough attention. Subordinated to the Dem Socialist debate the other night, subordinated to the flap with the Trump administration's decision to withdraw troops from northern Syria. But thankfully, Cheryl Atkinson, our friend and excellent investigative reporter, picked up on this, writing about it in The Hill, talking about the ABC News combat video from the front in northern Syria. Turks invading northern Syria, except not exactly.
Killing civilians, innocent civilians, they said, too, while they showed it.
Yeah, except the video, as you probably know by now, we mentioned yesterday, was a military demonstration exercise at a Kentucky gun range.
How the heck does that happen? It is so irresponsible for them to do that. And then they didn't even own up to it. They just apologized. But, no, how did that happen? How desperate were you? What happened behind the scenes is what I want to know.
They issued a correction. We've taken down the video after after questions were raised about its accuracy. ABC News regrets the error. According to National Review, the alleged error was uncovered by social media users who compared the combat footage to a YouTube video of this Kentucky military show I just described. But Cheryl Atkinson makes the point, that's not the end of the story. It's yet another in a long series of pretty serious media mistakes that should never have happened and arguably would not have if appropriate journalistic standards had been deployed. And she makes the point that, again, we don't have journalism. We have storytellers who have a preordained story and they're looking for evidence to support the stories they want to tell. Writes Atkinson, I can't help but think that part of the problem might be the video seemed to fit in so perfectly with the narrative the media and other interests have been pummeling viewers with for a week. Had the video not shown what many wanted to see, it might have been treated more critically on the front end rather than represented as a great exclusive ABC News get that was shown to millions of its evening news and morning news viewers. But she also says, it also demands more questions. There's correction and then you walk away from something as egregious as that. Questions like, who brought the video to ABC? How did they represent it? What was the process ABC used to try to verify the video was what they presented it to be? Who did ABC believe shot the combat video? Did they pay for it, or did someone just offer to give it to them out of the blue? What was the motivation of those who misrepresented the video? Yeah,
you know what my
questions.
my question too is, how many times has this happened before, where they've aired the wrong footage to make us believe something that's not to be true? I'm done with them. That's. I know you don't watch local news, but I'm done.
Well, that wasn't local news.
No, it was national news, which is even worse.
That's what Atkinson suggests. I mean, in terms of her recommendation. Now more than ever, we should be mindful that these are important, complex topics about which competing interests try to further their own narratives. The best a viewer can do in this environment is not necessarily believe much of anything presented to them at first blush, no matter how many people say it's true, unless there's a way to independently verify what they see. It's a sad commentary on the state of journalism. And that commentary was followed up by Megyn Kelly.
She's back.
She was on with Tucker Carlson last night, her first interview since she got ash-canned by NBC News.
Yeah.
And they had a conversation about journalists as partisans. Some of the questions, the way questions are asked in debates by Gloria Vanderbilt's kid or the cricket, Don Lemon. And Megyn Kelly had this to say.
I mean, you have journalists who feel that their first obligation is to help a candidate or hurt another candidate.
Yeah.
That's not journalism.
Oh, 100%. And this goes back to right before Trump was elected. Jorge Ramos of Univision came on my show, and we had a very heartfelt discussion about journalism in America, and he made a strong plea for journalists to abandon neutrality. He said, that's over. You've got to come out and you've got to say, Trump's a racist, Trump's a misogynist, Trump's a bigot. So whatever your view is, you've got to say it and you've got to sell it, and that the time for neutrality is past. And I do believe he's persuaded, and others have come to their own conclusion, that that's the way forward. That's why we had a question. There was another CNN debate where Don Lemon specifically said, how do you answer voters who prioritize the economy over Trump's bigotry? Right? So there's a judgment in there.
A judgment?
Yeah. Right. I'm just saying, okay, so fine. Many people may agree with that, but it's the anchor's subjective judgment, and it doesn't belong, in my view, in a debate question. Same way as the New York Times is arguing, the old schoolers with the young folks, about whether the Times should be, quote, part of the resistance.
Yeah, what you have is, I would go one step further. You have these pundits / journalists. I mean, they're basically in indistinguishable terms now. that are actually presenting the talking points for the candidates to repeat back to them. You want to ask, do you think Trump is a bigot? Fine.
You don't want them to say Trump is a bigot.
No, you do. The Don Lemon, Trump is a bigot. We know this. And then you repeat that back to me. Just confirm what I said to be true, or just accept what I said to be true. You don't need to say it. I got you here. We'll do a little tag team. It's interesting to me, and I think this is one of the tells. Number one, the lack of presentation of source material. Well, on this show, when we talk about topics, we present source material that are backing up our positions, the arguments we're making, the questions we're asking. That's number one. Number two, the complete lack of inquisitiveness by the D.C. press corps. They don't do reporting and suggest here's some important questions that we don't know the answers to. We need to find out. This is where the story could potentially lead. There's no couching of maybe we're looking into this. This raises that question. It's all edicts that are being issued by quote unquote reporters, journalists, pundits, because it's an exercise in gaslighting you to believe what they're saying and then regurgitate it back to your friends and colleagues. And that's not journalism, because they're not journalists. They're political operatives. Tara in Elgin, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. I just was sitting here thinking about that video, and all I could picture was the scene from Running Man where he's shooting all the civilians, not that they're not civilians, and he's not shooting them. And I think because I saw it in my late teens, early 20s, that is formatted my entire political opinion on truth-telling. And I think I keep waiting for Dweezil Zappa to come out from behind the curtain, save the world.
Dweezil Zappa reference. Wow, that's impressive. Thanks for the call, Tara. I love the Running Man reference, too. Right, yeah, the phony video to whip up the audience into believing who Richard Dawson says is evil and who Richard Dawson says is good, and these good versus evil battles. It really is like a high-tech game show, isn't it? That's a really good analogy. By the way, Megyn Kelly went on to say, to sort of recount, I should say, the founding of Fox News and how things, what essentially gave rise to Fox News and how things have changed.
Fox News was founded in 1996, right? They just had their birthday, on the premise that the other side of the stories weren't being told, and that half of the country was being ignored, and that if you did fair and balanced news, the people would watch. And there was a premise that the other media, the mainstream media, maybe they weren't far left, right? But that there was a baked-in bias against people who believe in homeschooling, who believe in a pro-life position, who might have a gun, right? And so they made a whole empire based on programming to those people. I think what's happened now on the other half of the country, on sort of the mainstream, is they've embraced it. It was sort of passive, and now it's active. Now it's, let's work. He's too bad. We have to work together.
Right.
We'll be judged. History will judge us as whether we were for or against this man.
And it's not only he's too bad, as we've tried to emphasize. It's you're too bad. You listening who voted for Trump.
Right, we're deplorables.
Regardless of whether you held your nose and did it, regardless of if you have a nuanced view of Trump, there's some things you like, some things you don't. There is no distinguishing between people's perspectives. Here's the skirmish line. You're on one side or the other. In point of fact, it's funny because for all of the hand-wringing the D.C. press corps has offered about being called an enemy of the people, they see you, deplorables, as the enemy, and they're the people, right? They should be in charge. You're getting in the way. Do what they say, or else they're going to teach you a lesson. For example, along with their Democrat socialist fellow travelers, cooking up investigations that beset the administration and doing their best to, number one, get him out of office in 2020. Number two, if you can, get him out of office before 2020.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information. To start your day, it's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, our listeners helped build MyPillow into the amazing company it is today. And now Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, I'm sure you've seen him on television. He wants to give back to the listeners, and you can get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. Here's what you do. Go to MyPillow.com, type in Amy in that promo code, and you'll get 30% off the pillows, mattress toppers, the pet beds, and Giza cotton sheets. There's also the whole body pillow, which is regularly $89.99. But with promo code Amy, it's only $29.99. MyPillow.com. Type in Amy in the promo code or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
The IRS has the power to take your property, garnish your wages, and even send you to jail for back taxes and unfiled tax returns. Don't wait for the IRS to kick in your door. Call Kick IRS today. At Kick IRS, we protect you from bank levies, wage garnishments, and asset seizures. No matter how much you owe, Kick IRS will resolve your tax debt and kick the IRS out of your life once and for all. Call Kick IRS right now at 866-KICK-IRS. That's 866-KICK-IRS. Or visit us on the web at kickirs.com.
Nothing speaks louder about an auto dealer than a happy customer. And at Joe Cotton Ford, they have many.
I had a 2001 Excursion, was about 6 months old. We got T-boned, $29,000 worth of damage, bent the frame. After a few months, got it back from you guys, and it actually drove and rode better than when I got it from the factory. Well, service visits are always top-notch. You know, your service department, starting with Dave and going down all your service riders, are just amazing.
Another reason why folks keep coming back to Joe Cotton Ford. It's Truck Month at Joe Cotton Ford. Get a great deal on an F-150, the best-selling truck for 42 straight years. Joe Cotton Ford has over 40 F-150s to choose from, with up to $15,000 off XLT crew cabs. All built Ford proud, built Ford tough. All incentives applied. Stock number T9205. Celebrate Truck Month at Joe Cotton Ford, Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream, or at joecottonford.com. joecottonford.com.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so don't wait to start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Your best for being better, Permaseal.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy continuing on our review of Tucker Carlson's interview with Megyn Kelly, making her first appearance, and she was kicked out of NBC.
What did you think of her new hairdo? Did you even notice it, Dan?
I don't see gender. In fact,
No, her hairdo. Yeah. Oh,
it looks her hairdo is the same as Tucker Carlson's.
yeah, exactly. I think they go to the same stylist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course,
But she looked beautiful.
the
as
pink
usual.
tax he pays less for his
Right.
bob.
Right.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
Keith Ellison said so. They also took up what's going on over at NBC per the Ronan Farrow book, Catch and Kill, and Matt Lauer's open letter decrying the rape allegations against him now contained in that
Yeah.
book.
Saying it was consensual and all that.
So what about, the Me Too movement, this one of the leading news organizations in the country, and how they've handled the apparently rampant sexual harassment, maybe worse, that was going on right under their noses with their leading man, Matt Lauer. Here's what Megyn Kelly had to say about that.
And I want your reaction to this quote. Farrow brings a recording made by the NYPD to NBC, and in it, Harvey Weinstein admits that he abused an Italian model on tape. Noah Oppenheim, head of the news division, responds this way, quote, "My view is that the tape and Harvey Weinstein grabbing a lady's breasts a couple of years ago, that's not national news." Does that surprise you, having worked there?
Nothing surprises me anymore, Tucker, in this industry. As I've watched the Ronan story unfold as his book has come out, Ronan Farrow, Catch and Kill, the number one thing I've wanted to know is, what did they know and when did they know it?
Right.
Because I've been reporting on this story even while I was at NBC. I talked to Ronan, I talked to his producer, Rich McHugh, I talked to Rose McGowan, I talked to many Harvey Weinstein victims and accusers, and was getting to the bottom of what NBC knew while I was there, and then just independently. And the question is, what did they know about Matt Lauer prior to the time the woman came forward who was ultimately his downfall? She came forward, her name is Brooke Nevels, made an allegation against Matt Lauer, and the company's whole defense to Ronan's book essentially has been, that's the first we ever knew about Matt Lauer. There was no deal between us and Harvey Weinstein to cover up for Harvey Weinstein so that he wouldn't report on Matt Lauer, because we didn't even know that Matt Lauer was doing this. We had no notice of it whatsoever.
Remember, if you have to go back to this, NBC passed on Ronan Farrow's investigative story.
Right. And then he went to the New Yorker, and that's how the story unfolded, and that started the whole Me Too movement.
Yeah. So they were, so Noah Oppenheim, the head of NBC News, running interference for Harvey Weinstein, and Megyn Kelly certainly suggesting, and I don't think without foundation, that they're being less than honest about what exactly they knew or should have known, and when they say they knew or should have known it about Lauer. Kelly also makes the point, don't forget she's an attorney, this is a good catch by her. She addresses the NBC News blanket defense. There have been no settlements made.
Yeah, which is not true.
Well, it's a
well, it's a way that you word it when you part ways. How
It's-
they throw in some extra cash for you to
correct.
be quiet.
It's a little bit of rhetorical artifice, and she explains.
No settlements of any kind, no settlements. Well, that's a legal sleight of hand. You can get paid out as a sexual harassment victim in something other than a settlement. You can get what's called enhanced severance. That's the situation where the receptionist is suddenly getting a 7-figure goodbye. She was like an amazing typist, did so well, right? And it's just severance. It's not a settlement. It's just like, hey, and by the way, if you could just be really quiet about NBC forevermore, we'd really appreciate it. That's what we need to know. They haven't gotten specific about what monies were paid out to whom. Show us the money. The number one thing that needs to happen now is they need to release any and all Matt Lauer accusers from their confidentiality agreements. NBC says it has nothing to hide. Great. Let's not hide anything. Show us all of the agreements, the enhanced severance agreements that were reached, or at least the numbers, so we can see which ones pop out, which ones are super high. And are they all women? And do they all have a connection with Matt Lauer? And number two, release the women from their confidentiality obligations.
What do you think about that?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. They should release all the women from their confidentiality agreements, because NBC has egg on their face right now. And Megyn Kelly helped.
At minimum.
Well, she helped promote that. I mean, just tell the truth last night. so the world can know what NBC is really doing.
Well, it's sure. I mean, the infamous phraseology of the Amazon Post, "Democracy dies in the darkness," and of course, as a part of the vanguard in the fourth estate, I mean, NBC News wants to be as perfectly transparent as they can be to set a standard for others to follow, of course. So now we have two of the leading news agencies in the country just this week. Well, I mean, starting with the Farrell book, but I mean, Megyn Kelly is really sort of getting to the crux of the issue here, being called out legitimately. What about that, NBC News? We have nothing to hide, so don't force anybody to hide, right? Isn't that the standard you're applying to the president? Full compliance. Again, lead by example. That's happening at NBC News, where it appears that perhaps they were running interference for multiple alleged sexual predators. I think that's pretty serious. And over at ABC News, we have all kinds of questions about them posting agitprop as reporting for a story they want to tell about what's happening in northern Syria since the Trump troop withdrawal. And there's no questions being asked about how they came about this video, per Cheryl Atkinson, how they came about this video and the processes they went through to make the decision to air it. Let's have a full airing of that as well, how you got to that decision. The same way they would hold politicians to account for how they got to their decisions. It's a public trust issue, isn't it? I understand they're not government officials. They're just the government news corps. I understand that. They don't have the same responsibilities technically, but in terms of the public trust that they like to, the phrase they like to bandy about so much, you'd think they'd want to hold themselves out to answer all questions, make sure all questions are asked and answers provided. The whole thing is exhausted so that people can have faith in the quality of their news reporting and, frankly, the consistency of their corporate culture with the culture they're otherwise promoting. What do you say, NBC, ABC?
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Republican congressional candidate Jeannie Ives about her opponent, incumbent Congressman Sean Casten, accusing his Republican colleague from Texas, Dan Crenshaw, of being a racist. That's at 6:36.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
43 degrees at 6:32. Congressman Elijah Cummings has passed away after a career in the House of Representatives. Michael Steele's the former chairman of the Republican National Committee, a Maryland native, remembering Cummings as a man of passion.
I had the opportunity to work with Elijah, and he always understood what was needed, what was necessary. He cared so deeply about not just the city of Baltimore, but the state of Maryland and the country of the United States, the people of the United States. And he brought that passion every day in the Congress.
The UK and the EU have reached a tentative Brexit deal after London made concessions over the Irish border, a key sticking point. Now, Parliament should get that Brexit deal on Saturday. Chicago public school teachers officially on strike. Jesse Sharkey saying it's up to Mayor Lightfoot now to decide how long they'll be on the picket line.
We intend to be on strike until someone comes with good faith and where we can earnestly say that looks like a solution to us. That's going to really make conditions better, not just something that's going to appease us and get us back in the door. That's not what we're looking for.
Chicago Public Library, Chicago Park District buildings, and other community partner sites will be open. CTA transportation free for students. Vice President Mike Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in Turkey discussing the situation in Syria. Union leaders are expected to vote later today on a tentative contract deal reached with General Motors to end the auto workers' strike. Christian Dior in full apology mode. The luxury goods maker apologizing after it apparently left Taiwan off a map of China while in China. The Addison Teachers Association voting overwhelmingly to authorize a strike. District 4 there serving about 4,000 students. Chicago Park District employees will not walk off the job after reaching a tentative contract agreement. Chicago police officer Robert Rialmo is expected to learn this morning if he'll stay with the department. Chicago Police Board may announce its decision at its monthly meeting. Superintendent Eddie Johnson, you may recall, filed several charges against Rialmo, a 30-year-old Marine vet, in November of 2018. Those charges are not from the death of 19-year-old Quintonio LeGrier. He threatened Rialmo with an aluminum baseball bat. They focus solely on the killing of Betty Jones. Bulls wrapping up preseason play tonight when they host the Hawks. The news, a service of Discover. Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically. No limit on how much they'll match. Millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. Discover Cashback Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/cashbackmatch. 6:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes every society needs norms.
The notion that society can have norms is very important. And what the left does is chaos. They hate freedom and they hate order. Any society needs it, because when the guardrails are broken, there's chaos and bad things will happen.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention maintenance coordinators. Fans are a vital part of your business's building or factory. You've got to keep the air moving. But when they break down or need service, who can you call? Vans Industrial repair all types of fans, from small wall fans to large air movers.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Fan repair is one of many services that Vans offers. If you have a fan with a damaged shaft, bearing, impeller, or housing, we can help. And if you need a new fan, we handle all major brands and can provide engineering assistance to properly size your new fan. Our crews can respond to your emergencies or routine maintenance and will have your fan back up and running fast. And when we're done repairing your fan, we can also dynamically balance it so it runs smooth for years to come.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to get your fan repaired today. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com. Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill remarked, "Socialism is a philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance, the gospel of envy. Its inherent virtue is the equal sharing of misery." How truly relevant.
Manufacturing companies, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and systems integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet FDA compliance requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution for your business that will make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. From Fortune 500 to startup, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI, 844-HIRE-ASI, or online at hireasi.com.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
6:37 AM 560 traffic center time, and here is Jim Talamonte.
Reagan Tollway eastbound 88 traffic is jammed. 83 to the Eisenhower with a crash now on the left shoulder. Northbound Tri-State traffic is slow from 95th to the Mile-Long Bridge, from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Seeing delays on westbound I-80 Humboldt to I-55 after overnight construction. Eden's 22 minutes like Cook Junction. Kennedy 35 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Inbound Eisenhower now 48 minutes 390 to the Burns Circle. Stevenson 48 minutes 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan 26 minutes 95th to downtown. I-57 19 minutes I-80 to the Merge. Bishop 435. There's a crash past 130th in the right lane. I'm Jim Talamonte.
6:38, Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, we'll see partial sunshine today, high 55. 43 at O'Hare, next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
See Michelle Malkin, Sean Hannity, and Laura Logan at Freedom Summit 2019. Tickets on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We mentioned this yesterday, but it bears repeating. Sort of a remarkable exchange between Sean Casten, he is the socialist congressman from the western suburbs.
How that happened, I will always be scratching my head.
The state's a death cult. That's how it happens. So we want, apparently, the majority of the electorate, at least recently, wants to elect people that will advance the destruction of the Chicagoland area and the state as quickly as possible. Sean Casten's certainly up to the task. He had a town hall meeting, Glendale Heights. A guy asks him, hey, I asked you 6 months ago, you dodged. I'm going to ask you again. What do you say to the anti-Semitism and the anti-Semitic comics of your colleague Ilhan Omar? And Casten goes on to explain that he voted for the resolution condemning hate of all forms that was prompted by Ilhan Omar's hatred. And he called it the single hardest vote he's had to cast as a member of Congress to condemn hate. It seemed to me a rather easy vote, but it was difficult for him, and here's why.
Ilhan Omar is an anti-Semite. Your response makes me believe that you're at least okay with her comments, if not in agreement. So will you at least repudiate her and her fellows anti-Semites in Congress?
Dan Crenshaw, the new Republican in the Navy SEAL with the eye patch. Last amendment that came up was an amendment to say we're going to add a rider on this bill that says that illegals can't vote. And I sat there and I said, you know what? You're not allowed to vote if you're not a citizen. That's already happened. Why are you doing that? The reason you're doing that is because you are a racist. Because you are trying to appeal to people who will vote for you if you stand up and oppose brown people.
So the response was Dan Crenshaw issued or attached this rider to the resolution condemning hate that said illegal immigrants should not have the right to vote in this country. And Sean Casten's perspective is he is a racist. That's what he said. Because he is just signaling to his voters that support me because I hate brown and black people, I guess. So I'm a little perplexed. Does that mean that it is racist to oppose the right to vote to people here illegally? Is that racist? Because I know it's the law, but if the law is racist, then Sean Casten doesn't support it and would ostensibly like to change it, right? Doesn't that logically follow? Dan Crenshaw's responded, sort of giving him the back of the hand, dismissing his name-calling as just that. He says he's never spoken to Sean Casten.
No, and he said when you can't articulate a coherent argument, you resort to calling your political opponents racists.
It also is, the classic leftist ploy of projecting onto others who you are. Or in this, and in this case, I shouldn't say or, and in this case, running interference for one of your hateful colleagues by projecting onto other people what she is, talking about Ilhan Omar. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Jeannie Ives. She's the Republican candidate who's challenging Sean Casten for that seat come November of 2020. Jeannie, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, Dan and Amy.
So did people know Dan Crenshaw because of the eye patch, because of the ridicule he received at Saturday Night Live before they all made up? And he's a combat veteran, Navy SEAL. And he's called a racist for attaching that amendment to that resolution condemning hate. How do you respond to that characterization?
Well, it's pretty depressing to have somebody like Sean Casten representing us in Congress because that he's gotten nothing done on the policy agenda, and now he's calling American war heroes names when he can't win a political argument. And it's not the first time that Sean Casten is called names. We also have him on tape calling people who don't believe in universal health care greedy, and people who don't want to pay more taxes greedy. Now we're the state with the highest tax burden on anyone, and we're greedy because we don't want to pay more to a predatory government that doesn't deliver services. This is the left, And by the way, it's not just people like me that they've called names. It's not just people like Dan Crenshaw. The entire left feels this way. Also, there was a story that USA did today. Today did, and it's about a journalist that they sent back to his hometown in Ohio, in Appalachian. They wanted to find out what's up with Trump and everything. And in the article, they also say that an African-American Trump supporter says, either you believe the way they believe or you're a racist or a homophobe. The reason I'm working is Trump is because of what Trump's done. I just want to put my hard hat on and go to work every day.
I mean,
so it doesn't matter who you are. You're all called a name.
Well, if Kasten believes it's racist to propose illegal immigrants not be allowed to vote, does he propose any changing of the law to allow for non-citizens to vote?
Well, he obviously cares more about illegal immigrants than he does American citizens. We know that for a fact. We also know that his party feels that way as well. And by the way, Dan Crenshaw was right to introduce such a bill, because in the state of Illinois, they passed legislation saying that illegal immigrants can sit as student trustees on our public university boards. And on those boards, they also vote. So it's not uncommon to have this happen. You've also had states say that in local elections, they let non-citizens vote as well.
Yeah.
So maybe we should find out why Crenshaw, proposed such legislation.
Well, and also you have the leading lights of the left, including all those who raised their hands on the dais during a Democrat-socialist presidential debate, say, well, people in this country here legally should be entitled to health care coverage. You have people like Julian Castro saying the way that you eliminate illegal border crossings is to stop treating them as illegal acts, decriminalize illegal border crossings. So if they're not illegal acts, then somebody's just here legally, and why shouldn't they? And they get welfare state benefits as they so desire. So what's the next step? As you mentioned, there are localities that are allowing people in this country legally to vote. So why not just codify it all together? We're not going to make no distinctions. The open borders crowd make no distinctions between citizens and non-citizens. So why not extend the franchise to non-citizens? That's not illogical given the positions that they're taking on those issues I just mentioned.
No, and there's no doubt if you give them more power, they will do this, and they will absolutely destroy the very fabric of what it means to be an American, and the rights that are conferred to people that have gone through the process legally to become an immigrant here and to actually become a citizen. And just the other day, I was at a meeting, and a guy who had been here for about 30 years from Eastern Europe. And immigrated here came to a Republican meeting to seek out a common group of people that he can help fight back socialism, because when he left a socialist country when he was 18 and he wanted nothing to do with it. And then the following week he was going to actually become a citizen. And he felt at this point, he's got to take on the fight himself. God bless him. Those are the types of people that we want here, the people that respect American citizenship. Unfortunately, Sean Cassidy and his don't do that. As far as name calling, another interesting thing is I was at a home party, just a home meet and greet with some people in Naperville yesterday. And the host of the party actually put it out on this, neighborhood sort of blog site saying, hey, come meet Jeannie Ives, just find out who she is. And they were appalled at the hateful remarks that they got in response to just a simple invitation to come meet at their lovely home in Naperville.
Well, sure. I mean, by the way, they're the paragons of civility, those on the left, right? That's like Sean Casten, one of their ideological leaders, whose ideological leader is Dan Savage. So he said in a WTTW debate back in 2018 during the election, Dan Savage, who promotes mandatory abortion. Dan Savage, who said Republicans should die. Mm-hmm. Sean Casten, in keeping with that, just last year compared Trump to Osama bin Laden. He said that Osama bin Laden and Trump have a lot in common. So, I'm fascinated, and I'm sure you'll be fascinated to learn on the trail how people want to square the circle when it comes to civility with some of the things Sean Casten and those that he looks to for guidance have to say about people with whom they disagree and about just people in general in terms of their existence.
Well, I told the group last night, I said, look, if you don't push back when you're confronted with it, then we're not going to win this. Everybody needs to be all in. We can't be silent about it. The name calling is not warranted, and it's just their way of escaping any responsibility for the policy choices that they have made that has really destroyed the state of Illinois. And if you let people like Sean Casten go to Congress again, they will destroy the nation as a whole. They will give away your money and your citizenship. And by the way, when they're calling people like me names, just remember that they're really after you, because it's your values that stand in the way of their utopian ideals, and it's your pocketbook that they need to pick in order to pay for their socialist dreams. So they're coming after you.
Yeah. Has Sean Casten authored any bills in D.C.? Has he done or accomplished anything?
He voted for a unbalanced budget that blew through any spending caps that were in place, a 2-year unbalanced budget. So he's not good on the fiscal issues. He's got a multi-step plan to go to Medicare for all, which would destroy private insurance. He's all about climate change and thinks that's the biggest threat that we have. So he's not solved any problem at all, and then has asked for a pay raise. This is who he is.
And how do you deal with, the Trump issue? You have Republicans in this state who routinely run from any opportunity to defend themselves, so much less anybody else with an R. But Trump is not popular in Illinois. He's not popular in suburban Chicagoland. So how do you deal with that when I'm sure you'll be cast by Sean Casten and others as, Trump's right-hand lady?
Well, they like to use the word extreme because they think it sums up everything. But look, nobody ran against both parties more than I did during my time in Springfield, and running against Bruce Rauner, quite frankly. So to me, it's all about the policy, and so I just ask people, well, what policy would you like to discuss that Donald Trump has either advocated for or put in place? And we'll have a policy discussion. It's not going to go much further than that, but look, I recognize that Donald Trump has been attacked since November 9th, 2016. And as far as Casten goes, his entire checklist of things to do was impeach Trump, impeach Kavanaugh, back to impeach Trump, back to ask for a pay raise, back to pass an unbalanced budget, back to impeach Trump. I mean, the guy is, fixated on this idea that the president needs to be impeached when we're about a year away from the election. You can let the people decide.
She is former state representative and now GOP congressional candidate in Illinois 6, Jeannie Ives. Jeannie, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Chicago Public Schools closed today. Teachers preparing to strike. The NTSB plans to make highways safer, and economic reports today with third quarter results. Those stories next.
Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Lone Star Transfer. If you are a timeshare owner, getting out is probably a top priority. And now that annual maintenance fees are coming due, this ongoing burden and expense is at the top of your list. Thankfully, we can help. Let us do for you what we have done for thousands of others across the country. Our process is done legally, ethically, and quickly. Lone Star Transfer has a 99% success rate and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. We are a family-owned business and will personally make sure your experience is a pleasant one. Don't let another day go by with maintenance fees taking your hard-earned money. Give us a call for a no-obligation consultation at 844-284-4863. That's 844-284-4863. Or online at LoneStarTransfer.com. That's LoneStarTransfer.com.
Public schools in Chicago strike. 400,000 students will be on the streets of our third largest city as those teachers walk picket lines. That despite the city's offer of a 16% pay raise over 5 years. The federal government planning significant updates to its automobile crash test ratings. The NTSB will also update technology to make American roads safer. A number of economic reports out today, and of course we'll have third quarter earnings reported from a number of companies, including Union Pacific Railway. And we'll have the Fed's report on industrial production. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Imagine your son excited to go to school each day, a school where he gets to throw snowballs and play tag, where his teachers understand that boys learn differently, and where he gets the one-on-one advice he needs to become a man of character. Talking about Northridge Prep, of course. I have friends who send their sons there. Two things they love. First, at Northridge Prep, every teacher is a role model. Through the advisory program, all students have a faculty mentor who looks out for your son like an older brother. They have regular conversations about being tough, generous, and setting goals. Secondly, Northridge Prep's common sense approach to cell phones. Cell phones are powerful tools, but they don't belong in school. 0 distractions, 0 cell phones. My friends appreciate how much more social and outgoing their sons are at school. It's a paper and pen approach that just works. I encourage you to learn all about Northridge Prep by attending their open house on Sunday, October 20th. Again, that's this Sunday, October 20th. Particularly you CPS parents, you might want to think about Northridge Prep. Register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I thank you to your Dr. Howard and everybody, because my Balance of Nature is like my extra little health insurance for me. It makes me feel good every day. I will take it forever. I don't have any family, and I think of you guys as my family. I think I'm getting emotional because you care, and I get,
You're going to make me emotional.
No, but, I just feel like you're my family because you really care about me. That's why I love you guys. You're like a family, and I know that if I ever needed to talk, I could talk. So thank you.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
ADP isn't just in the payroll business. We're in the people business, helping companies find them, train them, and empower them by clearing the way for them to do their best work. Because when your people thrive, your business thrives with them. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll. Informed by data and designed for people, so you and your company can achieve what you're working for. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents Doug.
Limu, I love how we're always looking out for each other. Kind of like how Liberty Mutual looks out for you by customizing your home insurance. So you only pay for what you need.
Limu, why didn't you tell me about the uncovered manhole? I was literally just telling you. Limu, I had no idea you could swim.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Remember when you could pick up the phone and talk to a friendly voice for technical difficulties?
Yeah, now it's a help desk on the other side of the planet that knows nothing about my business and usually isn't much help at all.
I got stuck in a help chat room the other day, and it was endless back and forth. I don't think they ever really understood or cared about my issue.
It's tough to get great technical help these days. To find people that really care and invest in your success. That's what Turnkey IT does. And you can rely on them to take care of everything IT, as if they were right by your side, but without the expense of an in-house IT department. Get to know the local team members at Turnkey IT that continue to serve businesses just like yours, from 1 to 200 employees. A friendly face with a personal touch that's close by and believes your word really means something. For only $7.95 per month, you can have local IT help and forget about dealing with computer and network problems forever.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up at 7:07, Trump has a contentious meeting with Pelosi and Pagliacci. We'll talk about it with Dr. Zuhdi Jasser from the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, 7:07.
Yeah, who had the fit, the truth. But coming up now, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
CPS teachers are on strike. The city offering resources to parents. Teachers in Addison may walk off the job. A boxer dies days after a match. We'll have an update. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
A leading House Democrat in the impeachment inquiry has died. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Congressman Elijah Cummings.
The city is mourning. I know right now. I'm mourning. I'm still crying.
She's in Cummings District in Baltimore. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the long-serving Democratic representative from Baltimore died overnight from health complications. Cummings, as House Oversight Committee chair, was playing a large role in the impeachment inquiry. Elected in 1996, Cummings was known for his forthright style and sometimes clashed with President Trump. Over the summer, he pushed back on the president's description of Baltimore as a rat and rodent-infested mess.
Do not just criticize us, but come to Baltimore, and I promise you, you will be welcome.
Cummings was 68. Dave.
Rachel, Vice President Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo are in Turkey trying to get the Turkish leader to stop bombing Kurds in Syria. They had been U.S. allies in the fight against ISIS, but the president calls strategically brilliant his move to pull American forces out of the area.
What does that have to do with the United States of America if they're fighting over Syria's land? Are we supposed to fight a NATO member in order that Syria, who is not our friend, keeps their land? I don't think so.
Well, hours later, the House voted 354 to 60 to oppose his decision to pull back, and many Republicans joined Democrats. Then came a meeting at the White House about Syria, and Democrats walked out. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
He was insulting, particularly to the Speaker. She kept her cool completely.
Well, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said it was sad to see the president melt down. The president later tweeted she's the one who melted down, adding she's a very sick person. The Brexit drama may finally be ending.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson saying the UK and EU have agreed what he calls a great new deal to take Britain out of the Union 2 weeks today. EU President Jean-Claude Juncker welcoming the agreement as fair and balanced.
That's Fox's Simon Owen in London. America's listening to Fox News.
41 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago Public School teachers officially on strike this morning. They began walking picket lines at 6:30. CPS CEO Janice Jackson announcing yesterday that all classes and activities had already been canceled.
While we will not be able to offer regular instruction during this time, we are going to ensure that all of our school buildings are open so that families have a safe place for students to spend the day, and also ensure that they have access to meals throughout the day.
CTU President Jesse Sharkey has said it's up to Mayor Lightfoot to decide how long the work stoppage will last.
We intend to be on strike until someone comes with good faith and where we can earnestly say that looks like a solution to us. That's going to really make conditions better, not just something that's going to appease us and get us back in the door. That's not what we're looking for.
In other labor news, Addison Teachers Association members have voted overwhelmingly to authorize a strike. District 4 serves 4,000 students. Their current contract expired June 30th. Meantime, Triton College's middle managers voted overwhelmingly this week through their union to authorize a strike at the college in River Grove. Chicago Park District employees will not be walking off the job. They've hammered out a tentative contract deal with the city. Tensions remain high over a proposed addiction treatment center in Itasca. Hundreds of residents packed a gym at Roselle's Lake Park High School last night to discuss the plan for the drug rehab facility. Bulls wrap up preseason play tonight when they host the Hawks. Bulls starting lineup is set. Your starting point guard will be Tomas Satoransky. Blackhawks welcome the Blue Jackets tomorrow to the UC. The news service of Panera Bread at Panera. Get breakfast that's fast, not fast food. Try new Chipotle chicken scrambled egg and avocado breakfast wrap. Pair it with a premium, freshly ground, freshly brewed coffee. All ready to go with the push of a button. Panera. Food as it should be. 7:03, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Tickets for Freedom Summit 2019 sold out in record time in response to the high demand. We've opened up an overflow room for attendees to watch the event on Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest. Overflow tickets are on sale now, but are selling fast. Get yours at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Woodland Windows and Doors, Automated Systems Incorporated, Joe Cotton Ford, HealthInsuranceMentors.com, and by Crown Weedy Roofing.
When you fire up a John Deere 1 Series tractor, you can tackle the job without wrestling the attachments. Hook up everything from a front loader to a drive-over mower deck in no time. So you can haul gravel, cut grass, or do any job in between. Because when things just click, work just gets done. And now get a 1 Series for just $99 a month at your nearest participating John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Search John Deere 1 Series for more. 0% annual percentage rate. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
When it comes to keeping your small business's valuable information safe, Dell Small Business Technology Advisors can recommend tailored security solutions like servers, storage, networking. Plus, right now, get up to 45% off select business computers with Intel Core processors. Running your own small business is a big challenge, but with the right partner, it's a lot easier. To speak with an advisor today, call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Improving your home? Why not make it easy? Don't miss the free Home and Garden Show this weekend only at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake. Find the ultimate in savings and convenience with thousands of the latest home products and services for the freshest ideas to remodel, repair, and beautify your home, inside and out. Get trusted advice on your upcoming projects as you speak with local and national experts who will help you with all your home improvement needs. And be sure to attend the free expert seminars and see live product demonstrations all weekend. Create an outdoor oasis with the latest in pools and hot tubs by P&W Spas. The finest in outdoor furniture from By the Yard. Then top it off with custom metal palm trees by Designer Palms. Plus, see the latest technology in robotic mowers and snowblowers. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor. You'll find it all at the Home and Garden Show this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake with free admission and free parking. For details, visit LakeCountyHomeshow.com. That's LakeCountyHomeshow.com.
Show your four-legged best friend how much you care with Invisible Fence brand's Boundary Plus technology. With Invisible Fence, your pet gets access to the whole yard, and you don't have to worry about escapes. Go to InvisibleFence.com and save $315. InvisibleFence.com.
7:06 AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Metro reports delays on the Rock Island line after there was a vehicle stuck on the tracks near 91st Street. See delays on the eastbound Reagan Tollway right now from 53 to 355 and approaching the Eisenhower. Northbound Tri-State traffic jammed 111th to Ogden and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Northbound Veterans Memorial is heavy 75th to St. Charles. Eden's 30 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy 43 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Locals quicker the express. Eisenhower 55 minutes 390 to downtown. 38 from Manhunt. Stevenson an hour, 3:55 to the drive. Ryan half an hour from 95th. I-57, 30 minutes. I-80 to the Verge. Bishopfort 35. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Partly sunny today, high 55. Will be clear with a low of 39 overnight. 41 at O'Hare, next news 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshale Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So Pelosi and Pagliacci, with Steny Hoyer in tow, went to meet with the president yesterday about the matter of troop withdrawal from Syria. And then they left the meeting because, people were mean. Chuck Schumer, Pagliacci there rallying to the defense of poor little Nancy.
I asked the president what his plan was to contain ISIS. He didn't really have one. He said the Turks and the Syrians will guard the ISIS prisoners. I said, is there any intelligence evidence that the Turks and the Syrians will have the same interest that the Kurds or we did in guarding ISIS? And the Secretary of Defense was, thank God he was honest, he said, we don't have that evidence. He was insulting, particularly to the Speaker. She kept her cool completely, but he called her a third-rate politician. He said that there are communists involved and you guys might like that. I mean, this was not a dialogue. It was sort of a diatribe, a nasty diatribe, not focused on the facts, particularly the fact of how to curtail ISIS.
And Steny Hoyer said, this is the reason we walked out.
You're going to hear the president say we walked out. We were offended deeply by his treatment of the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Oh, no.
Well, she said, too, that she's going to pray for him because she doesn't think that he's well.
Go ahead, we witnessed on the part of the president was a meltdown.
He said that there are communists involved.
Yeah, and then Kevin McCarthy was also at that meeting, had a completely different take.
When there is a time of crisis, leaders should stay, whether they like what is said or not.
Who had the temper tantrum? They're the ones who walked out of the meeting.
Who cares? Who cares that a crossword was said? I mean, he's talking to people who've spent 3 years accusing him of being a Russian agent and treason. Oh, and he called you a third-rate politician? Oh, heavens.
Well, they never brought up the impeachment.
Did the impeachment inquiry come up in these conversations at all?
No, it didn't come up. It did not come up, not at all.
Sort of the elephant in the room doesn't need to be stated explicitly. That's sort of beyond the point. Oh, gosh, Steny Hoyer's delicate sensibilities were offended on behalf of the Speaker. Pagliacci broke into tears over the Speaker's poor treatment. Let me tell you something. Yeah, I get civil discourse and the obligatory pay-ons to civil discourse. But please forgive me if I won't decry the president sending a bon mot or two across the bow of Nancy Pelosi and, frankly, the others in attendance for how they've conducted themselves over the last 3 years. Boo frickin' who. Now let's get to the substance of the policy decisions and the reality on the ground in the Middle East and stop worrying about every politician's delicate egos. They can go pound sand. For more on this, the substance of it, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, co-founder of the Muslim Reform Movement, former U.S. Navy lieutenant commander, and author of the book A Battle for the Soul of Islam. Dr. Jasser, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's good to be with you, Dan. Thanks for having me.
All right. And I know last time we talked about Syria, we had a conversation about the White Helmets, the sort of civilian volunteer force that was doing rescue and recovery from the Assad-directed bombings of civilians and this horrible civil war that took the lives of 500,000 Syrians. So I suspect you may not agree with the president's decision to withdraw here. If that is the case, what do you say to the explanation that's been offered by Defense Secretary Esper, as well as Rand Paul and others who support the president's decision, that, look, Turkey was coming in regardless, and so it was a question of using a few dozen soldiers as tripwires or getting them out?
Yeah, I don't disagree with removing troops eventually. What I have a problem with is the impulsivity and the lack of trajectory that was done. And I have to tell you, as you said at the opening, it is beyond frustrating to hear politicians continue, the Democrats especially, continue to exploit Syria and the human disaster there happening for political one-upsmanship, where Susan Rice and others were doing the rounds to sell her book and ignoring the fact that they paid billions, hundreds of billions in ransom to Iran, 500,000 dead, 10 million displaced under an Obama policy that created this genocide, and he turned a blind eye to it, and all the Democrats turned a blind eye to it. They never talked about the Kurds. They never cared about the Kurds They never cared about what created ISIS for 8 years, and now they all of a sudden seem to do so because they're so anti-Trump. So that's on the one hand. I think a conservative argument being had right now within the conservative community is, okay, fine, we want to remove our troops. We don't want troops everywhere on the planet for no reason. But you can't just remove sort of this, there's been a relative silence in Syria over the last year and a half. And our troops, they may have, you could characterize that as a tripwire, or you could characterize it as sort of a Jenga game where you've got a piece which our troops provide that's on the bottom balancing this thing, and he just basically pulled it impulsively. And our only allies, save Israel in the region, were the Kurds. Not one American has ever been killed in a Kurdish area, and that's in northern Iraq and northern Syria. And if we're going to move out, I have a hard time believing, as much as I have great respect for Secretary Pompeo yesterday, for him to say that the Turks were going to come in no matter what and basically declare war on American troops, I find hard to believe. So what I don't get is why the hastiness? You want to remove our troops and figure out how to keep the Kurds safe? Present it publicly quickly. Say that we're going to have a summit and we're not going to let a NATO ally run over our troops. No, instead we pulled out so quickly. Dan, we had to blow up our own material yesterday with rockets to destroy the anti-ISIS headquarters that we had. And meanwhile, there's a 20-mile corridor which we've basically given Erdogan the green light to. They're not bombing just military places for Kurds. They're actually destroying neighborhoods, displacing hundreds of thousands, committing war crimes, and they want to continue an ethnic cleansing where we've allowed a strategy that Russia, Iran, and Turkey seem to all of a sudden have aligned on, which is a weird alignment, by the way. And then we're sort of banking on the fact that the Salafi jihadists of the Turks, which is the Muslim Brotherhood of Turkey, which radicalized the Syrian population for the last 8 years, is not going to be radicalizing them in the future when, in fact, they are going to do so much more so than ever the Kurds did.
Well, what do you make, too, of this letter that President Trump wrote Erdogan 3 days prior to pulling out the troops?
Listen, it was hard to understand. I think, on the one hand, how will that play in America? I think Americans elected President Trump because they didn't want an elitist sort of foreign policy pencil neck making decisions. They wanted a regular American who's going to fight for them to do so. And I think that's why they released this letter. It shows a regular American who wants to get our troops out. I don't understand some of it. Why he'd say, "I talk to you later," and he basically said,
"Don't be a fool."
If you do so, this would be evil. And it's just sort of this combination of multiple Twitter messages on a letter. But then again, this is sort of what you see is what you get with President Trump. And the part I don't understand is why the impulsivity, why abandon the Kurds that allows the Turks to commit war crimes against them, when in fact I can't see how, if we had coalesced the rest of NATO and actually used the UN to put pressure and say, you know what, we'll pull out, but let's get other European powers, where your Erdogan just threatened to release 4 million refugees on Europe. If he's going to do that, why don't you guys come and put some troops here on the border and we'll get ours out because you have much more at stake here? We could have made that argument. But instead, you can't help but start thinking of weird conspiracy theories about oil and other things that Russia wanted. I mean, I don't know what the right answer is and why we did this. But the bottom line is to do it as for forgiveness rather than permission from the public, where I think the world, Europe, would have been on President Trump's side to say, we're not going to let Erdogan commit an offensive. Why do you think Assad let him do that? He basically had an offensive incursion of troops into Syria, and nobody's saying, wait a minute, how do you have an invasion into a foreign power? Because Assad wants to clean out the Kurds too.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think your criticism of the process and the impulsivity of it, I think, is a fair criticism. You really didn't prepare the public in any meaningful way. Not that you're supposed to telegraph foreign policy decisions, but you should telegraph a uneasiness with the troop presence still there and discussions with allies, and you want to restate a warning to Erdogan and Turkey. That's fine too. Explain the fact that we can't be in these places forever with these sort of light footprints, dealing with the 100, 200-year-old animosities we accomplished what we intended to accomplish, and I said I'm going to bring our men and women back home from Afghanistan and other places the world over where they're in harm's way for no particular strategic end. If he had said something like that before he had made the move, yeah, then I think it's more easy to sort of read along. But he didn't do that, so I can see where conservatives have problems with that. Now that said, just thinking about this in historical context, and maybe this informs some of Trump's perspective. I don't know either. This is all reading of tea leaves and tersely worded letters. But I just think about this. I was thinking about this morning, Dr. Jasser. So, Charlie Wilson's war. We support the Mujahideen against the Soviets, but the lesson we're supposed to take away, the conventional lesson we're supposed to take away from Charlie Wilson's war is we should have helped the Mujahideen rebuild Afghanistan, and thus it wouldn't have given rise, we ultimately wouldn't have given rise to the Taliban. We should have gone on to Baghdad in Gulf War I. We should have pursued the surge earlier in Iraq, and we should have sustained it rather than the troop withdrawal that Obama initiated. And now, against that backdrop, the duration of troop presence in places like Afghanistan and Iraq and the Middle East. And I think there's a fatigue factor. And I think we look at what's happened in North Africa and in the Middle East and say, we can't state build from afar. We don't want to be an occupying force. We have to have limited strategic goals because the larger utopian goals of democracy and pluralism and the relief of prosecution the world over, it's just impossible for us to effect from this distance, and the American people don't have the appetite for the kind of footprint required to do so. They didn't even have the appetite to go into Rwanda during the Clinton administration and stop the genocide there, or Darfur. So we're just fatigued across the board, and we see these intermittent reports of soldiers being killed in action, and to what end? And this was sort of part of Trump's value proposition as a presidential candidate that he's trying to make good on, even if it's not necessarily with the processes that we'd otherwise and the communication style we'd otherwise like.
I don't disagree with any of that. I do think, though, we have to put it in context of where we are after 8 years of a disastrous pro-Iranian policy, where you have Iran with tens of thousands of troops on Israel's door, Hezbollah stronger than it's ever been in Syria, Assad re-strengthened, and Russia re-strengthened with its base. So now you have the Kurds where you can't really, I think some of the talking points President Trump was giving actually were coming from Erdogan, which is that the PKK is worse than ISIS. That's absurd. Mm-hmm. And there's no evidence at all in our decades of at least over a decade of working with the Kurds that they've ever been anything but a loyal, steadfast ally. Now, who are the Kurds? The Kurds are 40 million people, 10 in Iran, 10 in Iraq, 2 in Syria, and 6 to 8 in Turkey. So for the first time, most of my Kurdish friends have never said they wanted a Kurdistan as a state. They want a federal Syria. It's an autonomous area in Syria that even Assad was not able to take over and was protecting minorities. And now many of us for the first time are saying, you know what, the only reason the Kurds are being laid to waste is because they don't have a seat at the table as a nation state. And maybe they should have gotten a nation state because they wouldn't have been thrown under the bus repeatedly over and over. And I think strategically it doesn't serve our interest. To think that somehow we can just from the air get rid of ISIS is absurd. Russia radicalizes Islamists everywhere they go, from Chechnya to Iran with Hezbollah. They love radical Islamists on the Shia side, and they use them when they need them, just like Assad shipped al-Qaeda and ISIS into Iraq on government buses as we were there, and he'll continue to do so. So to think that we need no presence there from an intel perspective is absurd. And President Trump made the argument a year ago. He said, we're going to decrease troops to nothing. I'm going to pull them out from Syria. And we said, fine. He went down from 2,000 to 1,000, or 4,000 to 2,000, and we were going down. And now this troop, by the way, what happened last week was not a removal. It was a shift over to give Erdogan that area into the Kamishli corridor in northern Syria. So bottom line, this wasn't about stopping endless war. It triggered a war. And when the president removes troops, nobody's saying he can't do so. But imagine if tomorrow he said he's going to remove our troops from the DMZ in Korea. Mm-hmm. There were, that could cause war, and yet there's no war right now in Korea. So there's a lot to say that America has a presence, whether we want it or not, existentially, even with just a few troops. And they're not being put there at danger because I refuse to believe a NATO ally is going to openly start firing on our troops.
He is Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, co-founder of the Muslim Reform Movement, former U.S. Navy lieutenant commander, and author of the book A Battle for the Soul of Islam. Dr. Jasser, always a pleasure. Thank you for your insights.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Stop wasting energy. There's a better way. Your company could be receiving energy efficiency incentives by recycling waste heat from on-site power generation equipment and turning it into useful energy. The federal government is pushing utility companies to be more efficient. In turn, utility companies are offering incentives for your business. Charles Equipment can help get you up and running with cogeneration, also known as CHP, combined heat and power, a clean and efficient way to generate heat and power. CHP systems can supply at least a portion of a building's electrical load and capture waste heat from hot exhaust gases for use in heating, cooling, hot water, and dehumidification. Charles Equipment can install and manage the cogen equipment at your facility and help your energy use become 70 to 90% more efficient. Start making better, more energy efficient decisions and save money in the process. Call Charles Equipment 630-834-6000 or online at charlesequipment.com. Reliable industrial generators. They've got the power.
Hey, listeners have helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is. And now Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to our listeners. And you can get deep discounts on all MyPillow products by going to MyPillow.com and clicking on the new radio listener specials box. I love MyPillow. It conforms to your neck and back, and it gives you the best sleep ever. So give yourself the gift of a great night's sleep. Go to MyPillow.com. Right now, a MyPillow, only $29.99, and the body pillow that provides the perfect comfort and support for your entire body, regularly $89.99, but with promo code Amy, it's only $29.99. See it all for yourself. Go to MyPillow.com. Check out the pet beds, the Giza cotton sheets, the mattress toppers, all 30% off when you put in the promo code Amy.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting TOP to 350350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds. The LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes, and most patients can get back to work the following day. The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision. Dr. Greenberg has performed 75,000 LASIK surgeries and is one of the most experienced LASIK surgeons in Chicago. And we're offering 20% off our already low-cost services.
What's that text again?
Text TOP to 350350. That's TOP to 350350 to schedule your free consultation today.
Fall is here. Leaves are falling off, changing colors. And for you, maybe you're starting to feel your energy level fall. Well, maybe you're having trouble sleeping or you just have seasonal allergies. Here's what we do know. Not everyone is getting enough fruits and veggies in their diet. Pumpkin spice doesn't count as a vegetable, folks. So it's time to get healthy before the holiday season begins and start taking Balance of Nature. 6 capsules of Balance of Nature. You're getting 10 servings of 31 fruits and veggies. You hear the stories right here on this station, and the next story could be yours. But you've got to order Balance of Nature today. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so do not wait and call too. And you could start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Call this number to learn more about Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
AM 560. The Answer.
So the press corps caught up with Joe Biden in Columbus, doing a little campaign stop after the debate the other evening. And this is what he had to say about his boy Hunter.
The President of the United States says he wants to talk about corruption. Well, let's talk about corruption. He is running the most corrupt government in history of the United States of America, number one. Number two, he also is in a position where, as he talks about corruption, he is engaged in practices that, in fact, everyone around the world is looking and saying, how in God's name can this man be doing that while he's president? And look, Mr. President, you want to talk about corruption? I've released 21 years of my tax returns. I entered as one of the poorest men in Congress, left one of the poorest men in government, in Congress, and as vice president. I made no money while I was in there other than my salary. Mr. President, even Richard Nixon released his tax returns. Mr. President, release your tax returns or shut up.
So you wouldn't change anything? You don't regret any?
No, I don't. And because I never discussed with my son anything having to do with what was going on in Ukraine. That's a fact.
That's not a fact. At least it's not a fact that Hunter stipulates to. In point of fact, he said again in his ABC interview, he keeps saying this, and they keep letting him get away with this, that Hunter did have a conversation with his dad, Joe, about Burisma. So what Joe Biden is saying is not a fact, or at least it's a fact. It's a statement in dispute with his own son. Number one. Number two, it is worth pointing out, poor old Joe Biden riding the Acela to and fro Delaware. His net worth is about $11 million.
$11 million?
Yeah. So number one, those public salaries, one of the poorest members of Congress. Yes, I understand. That's technically true. But those salaries, boy, you can amass a lot of money over the course of 30 years, making $200,000 a year plus all the bennies, and then upping that to $400,000 or rough numbers when he became vice president. But the other thing, and this is the whole situation with Hunter, which is why his statement is disingenuous. It's how you leverage your public office, your time in public office, for the payoff after public office. That's the whole point. That's the kleptocracy. And how did he leverage it? He went from $400,000 in 2016 to $11 million in 2017 in terms of his annual income. So $400,000 in 2016, he's vice president. Calendar year 2017, $11 million. Why? A book deal with his friends and colleagues in the publishing world. You think, did Dan Quayle get an $11 million book deal?
No.
Yeah, right. It's a little bit different how the left is treated by those institutions than the right. But the point is, the discussion is, it's the same thing with Hunter. Maybe what he did wasn't technically illegal, but it is trafficking on public position for private gain. That is the corruption issue.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll welcome our friend, humorist P.J. O'Rourke, who is welcoming back Puritanism, tongue-in-cheek, at 7:37.
And why a Dutch family lived in a cellar waiting for the end of time. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
41 degrees. Skies are clear right now. 7:32 is our time, and Chicago public school teachers are officially on strike. Union President Jesse Sharkey says it's up to Mayor Lightfoot to decide how long they'll be on the picket line.
We intend to be on strike until someone comes with good faith and where we can earnestly say that looks like a solution to us. That's going to really make conditions better, not just something that's going to appease us and get us back in the door. That's not what we're looking for.
Last major teacher strike in Chicago was 2012. Family, friends, colleagues, even political rivals. Mourning the death of Maryland Democrat Elijah Cummings, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
He was not just a great congressman, he was a great man. And he had a combination of being strong when he had to be, and had to be quite often, but also being kind and decent and caring and honorable.
The congressman passed away early this morning at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore at age 68. The UK and the EU have reached a tentative Brexit deal after London made a few concessions over the Irish border, a key sticking point. State of Colorado with an interesting political conundrum. They're asking the U.S. Supreme Court to rule on its faithless electors case. Attorney General of that state says they should have the right to remove members of the Electoral College that do not vote the way the majority of people in their state vote.
When Colorado appoints someone as an elector to serve the responsibility of following the popular will, that is a responsibility they are expected to carry through. And with that power to appoint includes the power to remove them if they fail to do their duty.
That's how he explains the law. However, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals completely disagrees, ruling that presidential electors do not have to follow state rules in a federal election, requiring them to vote for the winner of the state's popular vote. Addison teachers here voting overwhelmingly to authorize a strike. They've been without a contract since June 30th. Triton College middle managers voted overwhelmingly through their union to authorize a strike at the school in River Grove. Chicago Park District employees will not be walking off the job. They forged a tentative contract agreement with the city. Bulls take on the Hawks tonight in the preseason. Blackhawks welcome the Blue Jackets tomorrow, and Mitch Trubisky back practicing with the Bears after that left shoulder injury. The news service of InvisibleFence.com. Show those four-legged best friends how much you care with Invisible Fence brand's Boundary Plus technology. With Invisible Fence, your pet gets access to the whole yard, and you don't have to worry about escapes. Go to InvisibleFence.com and save $315. InvisibleFence.com. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Tickets for Freedom Summit 2019 sold out in record time in response to the high demand. We've opened up an overflow room for attendees to watch the event on Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest. Overflow tickets are on sale now, but are selling fast. Get yours at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Woodland Windows and Doors, Automated Systems Incorporated, Joe Cotton Ford, HealthInsuranceMentors.com, and by Crown Weedy Roofing.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hilco Industrial is bringing you a 2-day live on-site and webcast auction from a Chicagoland fastener manufacturer that you won't want to miss. Featuring a complete machine shop, large quantity of hand and power tools, test and measurement equipment, forklifts, pallet racking, tables, storage, general plant support, and much more. Auction Day 1 takes place October 16th in Cherry Valley, Illinois. Day 2 takes place October 17th in Wheaton, Illinois. Bid in person or online starting at 9 a.m. both days. Visit HilcoIND.com or call 1-877-37 Hilco for more details.
You've heard Remke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Remke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Remke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Remke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Remke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to remkesgarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Remkes, REMKES, garage.com.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
7:37 AM 560 traffic center time, and Jim Talamonte.
In West Chicago, 59 is closed from North Avenue north to Smith Road with a crash and vehicle fire. Southbound 53 is jammed before the Adams Tollway to past Higgins, a crash in the left lane. Traffic is heavy on the inbound Eden starting at Peterson, 26 minutes like Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. It's heavier in the express lanes. Eisenhower, 61 minutes, 390 to downtown, 45 from Manheim. Stevenson, 61 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 minutes from 95th. I-57, 29 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop 435. Reagan tollway delays are from the Aurora toll to Eola and 59 in Naperville Road after a crash. That's traffic. I'm Chip Talamonte. on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Partly sunny and 55 today. Clear and 39 overnight. Partly sunny and 59 tomorrow. Currently 41. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
This guy is the most biased reporter, NBC. I think CNN has more credibility than NBC News.
On AM 560.
Did you hear what I said? I said you have more credibility than this guy. And that's not saying much.
The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And by popular demand, and also because I think our next guest, PJ O'Rourke, will enjoy it, we played this yesterday, but it deserves a second airing. This commentary from a newsreader at Sky News Australia, recounting a local op-ed with a message to the kiddies, including the adults, the adults that behave like kids, when it comes to the end of the world. Think about the Socialist Spice Girls. Think about most of the Illinois congressional delegation. This commentary to them who are striking today, not for more money like Chicago public school teachers, but to save the world, to demand politicians do something, to ask the question, as Veruca Salt Thunberg did, how dare you?
To all the school kids going on strike for climate change, you're the first generation who've required air conditioning in every classroom. You want TV in every room, and your classes are all computerised. You spend all day and night on electronic devices. More than ever, you don't walk or ride bikes to school, but you arrive in caravans of private cars that choke suburban roads and worsen rush hour traffic. You're the biggest consumers of manufactured goods ever, and update perfectly good, expensive luxury items to stay trendy. Your entertainment comes from electric devices. Furthermore, the people driving your protests are the same people who insist on artificially inflating the population growth through immigration, which increases the need for energy, manufacturing and transport. The more people we have, the more forest and bushland we clear, the more of the environment that's destroyed. How about this? Tell your teachers to switch off the aircon, walk or ride to school, switch off your devices and read a book, make a sandwich instead of buying manufactured fast food. No, none of this will happen. Because, the piece says, you're selfish, badly educated, virtue-signalling little turds inspired by the adults around you who crave a feeling of having a noble cause while they indulge themselves in Western luxury and unprecedented quality of life. The piece ends by saying, wake up, grow up, and shut up.
I mean, I don't agree with every specific criticism, but I certainly do agree with the tone. For more on this, per his piece with a message to the woke walkers, we're pleased to be joined by noted humorist P.J. O'Rourke, H.L. Mencken Research Fellow at the Cato Institute, regular panelist on NPR's Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, New York Times bestselling author of many, many books, Parliament of Horrors, Give War a Chance, and P.J. O'Rourke, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, you are welcome, and thank you for that wonderful diatribe. I just wrote down, wake up, grow up, shut up, with a note to tell kids.
Yes, exactly.
My kids.
I think be sure to yell at them, too.
Sort of an update of Timothy Leary there, a bit of an 21st century updating of that.
Exactly.
Now, I've been reading you since college, and I've had this long-running love affair with your work, but I'm afraid now that has to come to an end because you're taking on people that cannot be taken on, and I don't want to be sent to the woke gulag by promoting your work. You're welcoming back the Puritanism as so practiced by the left, but I sense a hint or two of sarcasm.
Just maybe a hint or two, yeah, and I can't blame you for not wanting to go to the safe space that they're going to send us all to. But Yeah, I mean, I just had a very interesting. I was down at the University of Virginia with my old friend Pat Oliphant, a wonderful editorial cartoonist, who's kind of lefty, and I'm kind of righty. But we've been good friends for 30 years. And Oliphant has given up his, he doesn't draw anymore, his eyesight, macular degeneration and so on. He's getting old. And I'd like to retire myself. And we were talking about, hey, we're of no use anymore because, like, the clowns have taken over the circus. I mean, bring back we were there to make fun of the ringmasters, the elephants, the trapeze artists, the high wire walkers. Now all we got is like the only thing left for us to do is to chase the clowns back into the tiny clown car.
You don't. They're making a parody impossible, is what you're suggesting.
Exactly. And then, just as I'm saying that, along comes the virtue signaling woke world, and suddenly we all have something to make fun of again. I am so thankful for to these kids.
And you mentioned in your article, to be woke is to maintain a state of mind where you're constantly and accurately alert to social injustice?
Yeah, which is, as I recall, is pretty much the definition of being 13, although all the social injustice was from Dad and Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're the evil ones, because we want rules.
Well, yeah, you write that being woke is a parody of being born again. Instead of you're accepting Jesus, people like Jesus have to accept you.
Yes, because you see, Jesus, like a white male, dead white male. I mean, if you're Christian, you don't believe so. But, it was very well connected, the apostles, the disciples, and a father, he had like the whole, his dad was really well connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of ran the universe.
Right. No, I recall the
Privilege.
stories. Yeah. Privilege, right. But here's the thing about it. It's all fun and games until you're the subject of the bigot baiting, and you're the instrument they're using to generate that solidarity and marginality that they so desire.
And you are so much more in danger. You and Amy are so much more in danger of that than I am, because one thing that these kids don't do is read, and I'm a print journalist.
You're safe.
Of course, that comes with its own set of problems because print journalism is like pretty much the deadest industry that you can imagine. We make Youngstown and Akron and Dayton and the rest of the and Detroit and the rest of the Rust Belt, look like Silicon Valley when it comes to print journalism. But anyway. Yeah, you're safe from them having, or I'm safe from them having read anything I wrote, but they do still listen occasionally.
Yeah, no, that's an underappreciated upside of nobody reading anymore. I appreciate that.
It really is. You can say anything.
You just have to do it in print, right? There you go.
Yeah.
So where do you see this train going with conductors like Ocasio-Cortez and her cadre and newly woke Joe Biden?
Yeah, I know. Joe, go back to sleep.
I know. Even when he tried to attack Elizabeth Warren yesterday, my eyes rolled over. It was so boring.
I love the fact that this is like the entire like sort of leading edge of the Democratic nomination race is being led by people who are older than I am, and I was around when mastodons and Nixon roamed the earth.
But here's the thing. As somebody who's given to a rhetorical flourish or two, you must appreciate the fabulists that are running for president on the Democrat side. We'll just stick there for now. The Elizabeth Warren's had a number of heroic tales that she tells about herself. None of them are true, but they're heroic nonetheless. Cory Booker has an imaginary friend. Joe Biden keeps telling stories about him and Corn Pop back in the hood, back in the day. So that's a lot of material there.
It really is. They are doing a fabulous job. Yeah, Democrats seem to be operating on the thesis that nobody can lose to Trump, and by golly, they're going to find that nobody.
And what do you think about Elizabeth Warren, though, saying that she was fired from her teaching position because she was pregnant? And then it turns out, that's not really what happened.
Yeah, well, she has been known to slightly stretch the truth. But, gee, politicians lie. My jaw drops.
Yeah.
Knock me over with a feather. It's what they do for a living,
Are you...
It's when they tell the truth that things get scary.
Right. When they agree, when the two sides agree, that's
yes,
the scariest
agree,
of all.
That's what I've always said, that the most frightening words in Washington, bipartisan consensus, because that's like when my doctor and my lawyer agree with my wife that I need help.
Now, I know you're still using papyrus and quill writing instruments, but in the era of big tech, what's your reaction to those, to sort of across the spectrum, that are railing against big tech, the social media platforms, from a variety of perspectives? One being censorship, the other just being too much market control.
Well, it is scary, I mean, it's it is scary that about 3 or 4 of these firms, control virtually everything that comes onto our screen. There is a little button kind of around on the back of the computer that I found the other day that when you hit it, it goes off. So that'd be one response to the scary techno giants. The other is, when it comes down to this is a situation that will sort itself out by itself, although it may take some time and pain, because when it comes right down to it, a tech platform doesn't have that high a bar of entry. That is to say, you don't have to build a factory. It's not like competing with GM. You don't have to build a factory, design a car, and all this. I mean, you just have to get 6 nerds, fresh out of computer programming school, pay them minimum wage, promise them a lot of stock options, and you can create another platform. So I think that in the end, the free market's a painful way of doing things, but in the end, it's effective.
All right. Well, we'll end there on that optimistic note. And by the way, my favorite line from your Puritanism is Back piece at spectator.us. Japes at Tartufian can't begin anew. Or can begin anew, excuse me. There's just
that should send the little devils to the dictionary if they know what it is.
If I've said this once, I've said it a million times. There are not enough Moliere references in political and cultural commentary, and so I appreciate that.
True. It's a tragedy of our times.
PJ O'Rourke, H.L. Mencken Research Fellow at the Cato Institute, a regular panelist at NPR's Wait, Don't Tell Me, and New York Times bestselling author of so many books: Parliament of Horrors, Give War a Chance, Republican Party Reptile, and so on. Thanks so much for joining us, PJ. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's so good to talk to you guys.
Oh, you're the best. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I am up every day feeding 60 horses, throwing hay, doing all the things I need to do. And I actually have been back in the saddle, and it's been years, I'm telling you, years since I've been able to do anything with my horses, and I think it's this stuff. I am telling you, I think it's this stuff. My husband says he has his wife back. It's amazing. So you can tell everybody my story.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so don't wait to start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
So did it happen last time it rained? Did you get water in your basement? Did you ignore it like you normally do? Because, hey, it's not raining in my living room or bedroom. Well, you shouldn't ignore it. Mold can form, and it's smelly and damp, and you need to live a life without a wet basement. And for over 40 years, the Permaseal team believes your basement should be dry no matter how hard it rains. That's right. You can have a permanently dry basement. Just give them a call at 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee. so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all of the time, you know who to call. Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325. Or go to permaseal.net.
Where has the year gone? It seems like the holidays sneak up so fast. As you probably know, most retailers do their shopping in the first quarter of the year. However, Fox Valley Coins is gearing up now for the busiest season of the year. Fox Valley Coins wants to buy now before Christmas. Fox Valley Coins is one of the largest coin dealers in the entire Midwest. And with the current price of precious metals, rare coins, and currency, business has been crazy. They buy and sell all major forms of gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, and specialize in rare and collector coins and currency. For larger collections, they'll even make house calls to your home or bank from now through October. Fox Valley Coins is on Route 59, just 1 block north of I-88, at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Online at foxvalleycoins.com. Sure, they'll buy after Christmas, but they're stocking their shelves now. Take advantage. Fox Valley Coins. Online at foxvalleycoins.com. Buying, selling, and appraisals since 1981.
Gentlemen, if you've been feeling tired and grumpy, it could be low T or it could even be sleep apnea. Millions of men not only suffer from low T, but also undiagnosed sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is very common. It's a serious health condition where you actually stop breathing throughout the night while you sleep. It can last up to 10 seconds per interruption. Low T Center offers a complete health assessment to get all your levels checked, and now offers a home sleep apnea test that you take in the comfort of your own bed instead of a lab or a hospital. During October, it's only $49 to take the home sleep test to determine whether or not you have sleep apnea. So if you think this might be you, go to Low T Center and get it checked now. My friends at Low T Center make it quick, easy, and convenient to take care of your health. Most insurance, health insurance is accepted. They'll even verify it for you. So call today to schedule your appointment and tell them Dan Prof sent you when you do. Call 630-451-9352. That's 630-451-9352. Schedule your appointment at Low T Center at 630-451-9352 or visit them online at lowtcenter.com. That website, lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
With my house here in Chicago, you guys did my first mortgage, and then we just did the second one on a refi. Let's pick my three lenders that my realtor said that he used, and I'm like, they're not going to come close to Zach. But like, let's just play with them, and I did, and they didn't come close. Yeah, they're like, yeah, we can't match that. That's fact. You can't compete with Townstone.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, NMLS 136639, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org, equal housing lender.
Hey everyone, Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes a piece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue. If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, how's this for a Chamber of Commerce pitch? The Oak Parker tweeting out, are you looking to get away from your homogenous white bread community for something with a cosmopolitan feel? Check out Oak Park and drop into the Housing Center for our free apartment referral services. Contact us today.
Wow.
Looking to get out of your white bread community for something with a cosmopolitan feel. And stay for the cosmopolitan, or come for the cosmopolitan feel, I should say, and stay for the property taxes that are 6% of your home value. because once you come, you're not going to be able to get out, or at least you're not going to be able to get out from underneath your home. Boy, I think I've got the ideal spokesperson for the Oak Parker.
Oh, I think I know who she is.
Susan Buchanan.
Yeah.
Trustee Susan Buchanan.
How's she doing?
She's doing fine so long as white people, particularly men, shut their faces while she's crafting the town's diversity statement. All right.
And she's white, too.
What's coming up on this white bread show at 8:08?
CTU strike. How long will it last, and what are their new demands? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Teachers are on the picket lines today after walking off the job. Addison teachers have voted to authorize a strike. Chicago City Council has voted to approve the mayor's marijuana zoning rules. Meantime, a boxer dies days after a match. Rich East High School in Park Forest will close. Bulls take on the Atlanta Hawks tonight in the final preseason contest. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
He worked until his last breath. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Congressman Elijah Cummings' wife, now widow, tweeted after the Democrat died early this morning from complications of health problems at 68. Cummings from Baltimore was chair of the House Oversight Committee.
He'd been a key figure in the impeachment proceedings against President Trump. After the release of the Mueller report last spring, he said,
"This is a critical moment in our country's history."
Cummings had led several probes into President Trump's dealings, the president responding by criticizing the city as a rodent-infested mess.
That's Fox's Jill Nato, but just moments ago, President Trump tweeted his warmest condolences to the family and many friends of Congressman Elijah Cummings, and he added his work and voice on so many fronts will be very hard, if not impossible, to replace. Well, the impeachment inquiry continues this hour. U.S. Ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, will be questioned about the Trump-Ukraine call. The White House blocked his testimony last week. Hoping to get Turkey to stop bombing Kurds in Syria, Vice President Pence is now there meeting with Turkish President Erdogan. The House voted to oppose the president's decision to pull back in Syria, and that led to a contentious meeting at the White House, where Fox's John Decker is live.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other Democratic leaders stormed out of their meeting at the White House after being disparaged by the president.
Now we have to pray for his health, because this was a very serious meltdown.
Hours later, the president suggested it was Pelosi who was mentally ill and told people to pray for her. The president tweeted a photo of the meeting where Pelosi is standing and speaking while everyone else is seated. Pelosi made the photo the main image for her Twitter account. Dave?
John, Brexit may finally happen. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson working out a divorce deal with the European Union.
A very good deal both for the EU and for the UK. And it's a reasonable, fair outcome.
But it's not final. Parliament has to approve it. It's unclear if Johnson has the votes for that Saturday. America's listening to Fox News.
Skies are clear. We have sunshine and 41 degrees. Officially at 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago Public School teachers are officially on strike. Chicago Public Schools this morning saying they are providing resources to students during the teachers walk on the picket lines. Mayor Lightfoot says all CPS school buildings will be open to students during normal bell schedules.
All CPS schools will serve free breakfast and lunch as well as supper to take home. And to ensure the safety and well-being of our students, CPS administrative office staff will be assigned to schools as needed.
Chicago Public Library, Chicago Park District facilities, and other community partner sites will also be open. CTA transportation will be made available to the students free. Addison teachers voting overwhelmingly to authorize a strike. The Addison Teachers Association has 327 members. They've been working without a contract since June 30th. District 4 serves over 4,000 students. A boxer is dead just days after being knocked out during a fight in Chicago. Promoter Lou DiBella announcing Patrick Day died yesterday from a traumatic brain injury suffered during Saturday's bout. Rich East High School in Park Forest is closing. Rich Township High School District 227 voting this week to shut down the school as the result of decreasing enrollment. They will consolidate those students at Rich East and Rich South, or Rich East students to Rich Central and Rich South. Bulls wrap up preseason play tonight when they host the Hawks, while the Blackhawks welcome the Blue Jackets tomorrow. It's 8:03 and time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Morgan Stanley is reporting a stronger than expected summer quarter. JetBlue is planning a transatlantic partnership with Norwegian Air. The arrangement will allow customers to book on each other's flights. Norwegian's been selling discount flights to Europe, but so far does not have a U.S. partner, so passengers need to go outside the company to transfer flights in the U.S. Ford is launching an electrical vehicle network in a partnership with Amazon and Electrify America, a charge business owned by Volkswagen. It will have 12,000 charging stations and more than 35,000 charge plugs in North America. Netflix shares are higher after a reported strong global growth in the summer quarter, though in the U.S., its number of new subscribers was weaker than expected. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
It's 8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Tickets for Freedom Summit 2019 sold out in record time in response to the high demand. We've opened up an overflow room for attendees to watch the event on Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest. Overflow tickets are on sale now, but are selling fast. Get yours at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Woodland Windows and Doors, Automated Systems Incorporated, Joe Cotton Ford, HealthInsuranceMentors.com, and by Cromweedy Roofing.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can
call Cromweedy.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Cromweedy with roofing companies, and the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Cromweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact, and many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Cromweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Cromweedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Cromweedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy,
call Cromweedy.
That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
When you fire up a John Deere 1 Series tractor, you can tackle the job without wrestling the attachments. Hook up everything from a front loader to a drive-over mower deck in no time. So you can haul gravel, cut grass, or do any job in between. Because when things just click, work just gets done. And now get a 1 Series for just $99 a month at your nearest participating John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Search John Deere 1 Series for more. 0% annual percentage rate. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
When it comes to keeping your small business's valuable information safe, Dell Small Business Technology Advisors can recommend tailored security solutions like servers, storage, networking. Plus, right now, get up to 45% off select business computers with Intel Core processors. Running your own small business is a big challenge, but with the right partner, it's a lot easier. To speak with an advisor today, call 877-BUY-DELL. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
It's 8:07, AM 560 Traffic Center time, and here is Jim Telemonte.
In West Chicago, 59 remains closed north of North Avenue after a crash. Malfunctioning stoplights in that area. You have big delays on southbound 53 Rand Road to past Higgins. Crash blocking the left lane. Northbound, it's heavy Devon to before Higgins. Northbound Veterans Memorial, it's heavy I-55 to St. Charles after the Army Trail toll to 290. Eastbound Reagan tollways gummed up from the Aurora toll to Naperville Road after an earlier collision. Eden's 22 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, Kennedy an hour, O'Hare to downtown, heavier in the Express. Eisenhower an hour and 6 minutes from 390. Stevenson an hour 16 from 355. Orion 40 minutes from 95th. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte.
on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Meteorologist Steve Williams.
Partial sunshine today, high 55. It'll be clear tonight, low 39. A partly sunny day tomorrow, the high 59. And then partly cloudy for tomorrow night, low 45. A passing shower Saturday, the high 62. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560 The Answer.
It is 41 officially at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah, it's Groundhog Day. It feels like it's 2012 all over again. Chicago teachers are on strike, officially on the picket line. Everybody's doing it for the kids, and I don't know where Peyton and Eli are, but I expected them to be here to do some errands for me today since they don't have school. So what happened?
Well, they're sleeping in. I thought I'd let them
Must
sleep
be
in
nice.
today. Well, yesterday they had a football game, and I think Peyton's a little sore from that whooping that they gave to Von Steuben, 40-0.
Uh-huh.
But I know you don't care about that stuff because I don't either. I mean, they won the game, but if they don't settle the strike by October 30th, then their hopes for being in the state playoffs are going to be demolished.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you watched Channel 5 News last night.
Now to the impact on students and student athletes. One CPS mom we spoke with today is concerned about her two sons' football careers, how they could be affected by the strike. They both play football for Evanston High School, and they are standout players. The team is on a hot streak right now with its best record in 2 decades. They're 6-1.
They need to play this game, absolutely.
Just like in life as well as football, things are going to happen that you're not prepared for, but it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it.
Yeah, that's the football coach, okay? Just so you know.
I'm glad
Some
to know.
words to live by.
I'm glad to know that the NBC news readers will read anything that you write. That is the top line with Chicago Public School, the Chicago teacher strike, and the public schools being closed. The top line is one Lakeview mom who's concerned about the football careers of her 2 sons.
Well, because if they cancel the season, then there goes some possible scholarship.
Yeah.
Here is Juanita Askew.
It shouldn't have gotten this far. You know, like everyone knew that these negotiations needed to take place when the school year started. Like by now, it should have been taken care of.
Should have been taken care of by now. But this is just CTU letting Lori Lightfoot know who's the boss.
Well, I'll tell you what, who's the boss? I believe in community, it was proven scientifically that Angela was the boss.
Who?
Angela on Who's the Boss.
Oh,
Angela was the
right.
boss, not Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with respect to CTU, we know the taxpayers aren't the boss. We know that the politicians aren't the boss. We know the public sector unions are because they're the boss in Chicago. They're the boss in Illinois. They have been for some time. There's no surprise here, which is why we're literally having the same conversation that we had 7 years ago, the last teacher strike. It's the same dynamic between the mayor, the little mayor. We had a different little mayor back then. We've got a new little mayor now. Same exact conversation, same exact posture, which is supine. Same exact blank check that's being offered that was going to be signed with your names, by the way. You're going to be on the hook for it. If you're a Chicago resident in particular, but not limited, because I will remind people in Chicagoland and throughout the rest of the state that the majority of CPS funding comes from the state. All Illinois taxpayers on the hook for this. And, oh, by the way, what do we have at CPS? The only thing different between now and 7 years ago is the depth of the hole that CPS is in. $17 billion. That's the difference between assets on hand to pay bills and bills that are due, encumbrances that have been incurred. $17 billion. Okay, sure. But that doesn't stop CTU from making demands about nurse staffing and about social worker staffing, in addition to the 16% step increases, 25% increase over 4 years. Of course it doesn't. It doesn't stop CTU from saying we'll continue to have almost 3/4 of the employee contribution to their pensions picked up by the school system, meaning the taxpayers. So effectively, Chicago teachers, again, already the highest paid teachers in the nation, adjusted for cost of living prior to this strike, prior to this contract, will then just extend their lead over New York City teachers and will continue to roughly contribute 40 grand to their pension in return for a guaranteed $2.1 million out, $2.2 million net present value pensions. And if you don't like that, then you're anti-teacher. If you think, for example, the fact that CPS has overspent its budget for 15 years straight by a total of $6.6 billion is problematic, then you don't like teachers, and you're racist, too. If you think that, for example, Chicago property tax is increasing by 50% in real dollars over the past 20 years, while enrollment in CPS has actually shrunk by 22,000 students, then you're a racist and you don't like teachers. Are we clear? So now we're all just going to shut up and go along with it, and we'll parrot the lines. It's for the kids. I like teachers. I like principals. I like administrators. I love my elected overlords. I love the Chicago and Illinois electorate. Thank you for your service. You're dedicated public servants. You're selfless. You're other regarding. You're heroes. And I just hope and pray this gets settled, because it should have been settled long ago. And whatever numbers you need to write on that blank check to settle it, you just do that. And then, of course, we'll figure it out, because we always do. Everything is going well in Chicago and Illinois. This will all get figured out. We don't have to worry about math. Those are just opinions. There's people that prattle on like me about math. It's an opinion. It's a Republican Party talking point. It's a conservative, hateful rant. And that should be ignored and dismissed out of hand.
Well, should the teachers be replaced? Should Lori Lightfoot do the big move? What Ronald Reagan did with air traffic controllers and replace them all?
You know, I think we're all sort of checked out on that, Amy. I think that's a fun question. But let me just suggest this piece from Loop North News, a little local flavor on the housing market in the areas that support the city. Again, the half a dozen wards that provide most of, like, the supermajority of tax dollars to the city. They're calling it a cricket housing market, a cricket's market.
The Don Lemon market? No, I'm kidding.
No, different.
Scratch word
Yeah,
itches.
thankfully they're not doing that. Cookies went uneaten, coffee turned cold in the pot. Colorful helium-filled balloons decorating the front porches of homes for sale gradually went flat. Oh, nothing like a Kevlar balloon going flat. A Mylar balloon. Kevlar would be. That'd be something. That'd be different.
That would be very.
If you could make a Kevlar balloon,
Okay, balloon
I'd like
boy.
to see that. Yeah. I'm thinking about the Kevlar you need to wear in the city,
Right.
not the Mylar balloons. Excuse my confusion. There's radio silence, right? This Don DeBat writing. There's radio silence throughout the city and the suburbs, from downtown Chicago to Lake Forest, Oak Park to St. Charles. Oak Park? I thought that's where people move when they're looking to get out of their white bread community. Oh no. Radio silence. The only properties that are moving are priced under $500,000. Observe 3 city and suburban brokers. The demand for homes with more than 3,000 square feet, inventory period 3 times as long as those with less than 3,000 square feet. Just pointing up the fact again, you get above $500,000, Godspeed to you. I've never seen the city home market this slow, even during the Great Recession of 2008. Observed another veteran Northside broker. Boy, that's a statement, isn't it? Huh. Well, I'm sorry. You're going to have to stick it out and just continue to pay the confiscatory property taxes that you've gotten used to, because if you don't, and if you complain about it, then you hate children, you hate teachers, and you're a racist. All right? That's simple. So just buck up and bear it, because what are you going to do? You're not going to get involved. You're just going to quietly leave. Like, for example, the 9,200 tax filers earning $200,000 or more who left Illinois in 2016 alone. 4,700 such filers moved in. The net loss of 4,500 wealthy Illinois tax filers. On net basis, Illinois lost more wealthy residents per capita in 2016 than any other state in the nation except New York. And how do you think that's going since 2016 and 17 and 18 and now in 19? And what do you think the trajectory is? By the way, how big are these numbers? 11% of tax filers is what's represented by those with $200,000 or more in Illinois, representing half of the adjusted gross income lost in 2016. In other words, those 4,500 net filers, those 4,500 net $200,000 filers who left the state are part of a cohort that represents $2.5 billion in lost adjusted gross income. $2.5 billion. The lost GDP from the exodus just over the last 5 years is in the tens of billions of dollars. Job growth is anemic in Illinois. And, of course, we continue to have stories like the company that left Illinois for Hammond after just a mere 98 years in Bridgeport in Chicago. Yeah. Midland Metal Products, 700 South Wabash Avenue, no more. Now they're in Hammond. 135 employees. Invested $7 million in a 112,000 square foot plant, which is bigger than the one they had in Bridgeport. Employs about 135 workers and is still hiring. The president of the company, Marcus McDonald, said the company faced too much uncertainty about its costs in Illinois. Quote, this location in Hammond and this facility were the perfect solution. Yeah. All right. So what do you think? Enrollment down, property taxes up. What about the teachers? Don't administer the basic skills test anymore? 20 years ago, you had 10% that fail. It's a test that's so easy, a high school freshman is supposed to be able to pass it. But all of them are artists? There's quality control in the teaching corps there in CPS, do you think? And what about the good teachers who leave because they can't do what they got into teaching to do in CPS, which is instill a love of learning in children because of the sclerotic system? Any concern for them? No. I know. The curriculum. You want to talk about that? Why they mainly teach foreign languages in high school rather than grade school, despite the research we know about how kids learn. Why the first...
yeah, but our suburban schools did that too.
And
doesn't make it right.
And so? Why they teach... why biology is the first science class high school freshmen take when we know in point of fact it should be the third after a physical science course and chemistry. That's how kids best learn science. Why? Why do those things happen? Anybody care about 500 plus kids being allegedly sexually abused over just the last decade? The last decade, that includes most of the time from strike to strike. CTU didn't even bother to participate in the internal inquiry into that systemic sexual abuse of children in CPS. Jesse Sharkey's invitation got lost in a spam filter. Anybody want to talk about that? No? Don't care? Black and brown kids, poor kids, not my kids? What is it? Is there anything that can get people to care? Is there anything that can get people to do anything? Or are you just going to be shut up and back down by people who say, it's for the kids. If you oppose the blank check, then you're anti-teacher, principal, administrator, education of black and brown children, as if CPS is educating black and brown children. Anybody care about, I don't know, anybody ask the Chicago Press Corps about these vacant schools that are staffed as if they weren't?
There's a lot of vacant schools.
Some people do. 1 in 10 city of Chicago property owners didn't pay real estate taxes in 2018. They're going galt. Schools. Harper on the south side has 172 students. Once had 4,400. Fanger, 223 students, down from 5,300.
And how does that? I mean, 5,300 to 200 students. That's amazing.
Hirsch, 147 students. Once had 3,280.
Wow.
Go on and on and on. 42% of more than of some 6 high schools we looked at were less than half filled. 42 of the 59 we looked at were less than half filled. That's 71%. 12 of 59 high schools, less than 10% of what they once had. Those 12, Team Inglewood, Harper, Fanger, Hirsch, Douglas, Robeson, Marshall, Manly, Bowen, Gage Park, Hope, Bronzeville. Anybody want to talk about that? No, don't care. You just want this binary of like, oh, Lori Lightfoot good, Lori Lightfoot bad, CTU good, CTU bad, teachers good, teachers bad. It's for the kids. It's not for the kids. Does anybody care about anything? The finances, the quality of education, the safety of kids in the schools, the actual capacity, the population versus the capacity, anything. What it's doing to home values, the blank checks that are being written with your name signed.
Well, there is one point of contention which I agree with, and that's that schools on the north side have much more than schools on the south side.
We have things here that they don't have on the south side, and our brothers and sisters who are there on the south side suffer more than we do.
What is it? What do they have?
Well, the school nurse, for instance, a lot of schools on the north side, we have a school nurse. They have a school nurse that comes once a day, or 1 day a week, excuse me, to certain schools that are middle schools and elementary schools. So they want a nurse and they want a social worker if there's 800 plus kids in the school.
But
it sounds like there's no one in the schools on the south and west side from what those numbers you just read.
Yeah, and I assume that's supposed to be sarcasm. That's a joke, right? That's not a serious position that anybody's taking, I hope. Is that a serious position? 500 kids plus have alleged they've been sexually abused in the last decade. And you want to talk about how many days a school nurse is appearing at one particular school? That's been hollowed out if you're comparing north versus south side, where the south side is where the schools have been hollowed out. That's what you want to talk about? The social worker? For what? The problem with this criminal enterprise called CPS is that we don't have enough staff. It's not what's being afforded or not afforded the kids. We can't figure it out. We can't make it go $25,000 per high school graduate per year. Not enough. I remember during the 2012 strike, at least when we had Jesse Sharkey on the show, and before he got too sheepish to come on the shows and deal with people like me, just settled to deal with your colleagues at NBC and the other Chicago press corps outlets that are jokes. At least he admitted, well, how much more money do you need? I just asked him, what's the number? Just give me a number already. Stop telling me more. He said another $3 billion. That was 7 years ago. And now we're there, and he wants $3 billion. Okay. At least he's honest. Is Lori Lightfoot honest? She's not. I'll skip ahead. I'll refer you to the answer key. Marty in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Marty.
Marty, go. Marty, gone.
You'd be gone.
Keith in Grand Park.
Hey, Dan. I think the voters of Illinois understand your math. It's pretty easy to follow. They just don't care. I think their pension checks that are coming in, their disability checks that are coming in, they want the scam to continue. It's continued for 50 years, so why? They just don't think the scam will ever end, so just keep riding the wave.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's right. So ride it. Sean in Elmwood Park.
Now I know why you dress like the Tidy Bow man, Prof. It's over. You're going down the drain. And I'll tell you another thing. It's not just the Sharkies of the world. It's the parents. Listen to the mother. The biggest thing she's concerned about is the football game. Oh, really, honey? Is that what bothers you? How many of the parents can't wait to drop their kids off for their free breakfast, for their free lunch, for their free afternoon snack? How many send 4 and 5 and 6 kids and pretend that they pay their property taxes when half are renters? Oh, they pretend that they have it coming. It's the character of the Chicagoan, and it deserves to be flushed. They're socialists pretending they have dignity. You have none. You pay for your kids' school, you pack the lunch in the morning, and you worry if they learn their homework. Not if they can catch a ball, dimwit.
Oh, you know who that parent is. Sean.
Me. I'm the guy packing the lunch.
No. The mom and the football players.
I know. She's the sexy one, like a question mark. I know who she is.
Thanks, Sean.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions.
If you run a small business, saving up to 30% on your workers' comp insurance is a big deal. That's why you need to check your rate at pieinsurance.com. Pi Insurance makes workers' comp a no-brainer with an easy online experience and outstanding service. At Pi, we protect your business and your employees and could save you up to 30%. Check your rate online today and see how much you can save at pieinsurance.com. That's pieinsurance.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Why do conservatives have so much trouble dealing with the politics of the identitarians? We're going to ask Georgetown University professor Josh Mitchell at 8:38.
But now let's head straight into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine, 41 degrees. President Trump weighing in on the loss, he says, of a political giant. He took to Twitter this morning to send his condolences to the family and many friends of Congressman Elijah Cummings. The Maryland Democrat died early this morning after battling multiple health issues. Chicago public school teachers are officially on strike. CPS CEO Janice Jackson.
While we will not be able to offer regular instruction during this time, we are going to ensure that all of our school buildings are open so that families have a safe place for students to spend the day, and also ensure that they have access to meals throughout the day.
Thousands of educators hit the picket lines at 6:30 this morning. Also here locally, Addison Teachers Association voting overwhelmingly to authorize a strike. District 4 serves about 4,000 students. Overseas, the UK and EU have reached a tentative Brexit deal after London made some concessions over the Irish border, a key sticking point. Drop, cover, and hold on. It's the great shakeout of 2019. Earthquake drills will be held around the country today to get people familiar with how to stay safe if a trembler hits. The drills happen at exactly 10:17 a.m. Tensions remain high here over the proposed addiction treatment center in suburban Itasca. Hundreds of residents packed a gym at Roselle's Lake Park High School last night, discussing plans for the Haymarket Center. And now that deer season is here, just a reminder, you can keep the deer you hit and kill along the roadway in Illinois. The DNR yesterday reminding drivers about rules of roadkill for deer. DNR says you must claim that deer and then report it to conservation police within 24 hours of the accident. By the way, you cannot kill a deer you injure. Only law enforcement is allowed to do that. Bulls wrap up preseason play tonight when they host the Hawks. Blackhawks welcome the Blue Jackets tomorrow night to the UC. Head coach Matt Nagy says Bears quarterback Mitch Trubisky may start against the Saints on Sunday after battling a left shoulder injury. The news service of Staples. Staples gives your business more for less. It's where you find the latest tech to help you work smarter, not harder. Right now, save up to $300 on the latest PCs. Staples for your business tech and beyond. In-store only, ends 11/2/19 while supplies last. Exclusions apply. 8:32, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees another scam from the Democrats.
I got an idea. Vote on impeachment. Get it underway. Vote. And without a vote, nobody from the White House, the State Department, or the Trump administration should be testifying before this kangaroo court. The president is right. It's a scam.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me, I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. See Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Vein Clinics of America wants to know, when's the last time you felt comfortable in your own skin?
Are you kidding me? I haven't worn shorts in years.
Every summer, I'm the only guy on the beach wearing long pants.
Wearing slacks to hide my compression hose sure doesn't make me feel any younger.
Listen, you're not alone. Many men and women are embarrassed about their bulging varicose and spider veins, not to mention the pain and how uncomfortable they make you feel.
I would get home from work and my legs were swollen and throbbing.
Why deal with this any longer? Let Vein Clinics of America help you discover healthy, better-looking legs. For over 35 years, Vein Clinics of America has been the leading expert in the minimally invasive treatment of vein disease. Imagine wearing a swimsuit or shorts with confidence and getting back to normal activities. It's time to feel comfortable in your own skin again. VCA accepts most major insurance plans. Call now to see if you qualify for a free consultation. Call 800-891-4900. 800-891-4900. That's 800-891-4900.
8:35 AM 560 traffic center time, and here's Jim Talamonte.
53 southbound traffic is bottled up from Rand Road to past Higgins, where an earlier crash has cleared now. Northbound Veterans Memorial traffic's jammed. I-55 to the Reagan Tollway after the Army Trail Toll to 290. Eastbound Reagan Tollway delays are very heavy from the Aurora Toll to 355. The eastbound Adams Tollway and stop and go 59 to 53. Edens, 21 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, an hour. O'Hare to downtown, 42 minutes from Montrose, 38 in the Express. Eisenhower, 57 minutes, 390 to downtown, 39 from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. To Ryan, 37 minutes from 95th. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte
on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, we'll see partly sunny skies. High near 55. Clear and 39 overnight. Currently 42 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee. Roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Note here. I'd like to thank Somrus. Somrus is this spirits outfit.
Yeah, and this Friday and Saturday, you can sample artesian chocolates, wines, and liqueurs and spirits from vendors like Somrus that make mango and chai rum creams.
They're pouring at the Chicago Wine and Spirits Expo, and I am trying their chai cream liqueur in my coffee this morning.
And what do you think?
It's helping me indulge and endure the rhetoric coming from the Chicago Teachers Union. So I appreciate that, Somrus. Well-timed with your delivery of these liqueurs.
And real quick,
thank you very much.
Chocolate Wine and Spirits Expo includes free parking in the West Loop and over 40 artisans with proceeds benefiting Chicago Canine Rescue. Secure your tickets today. Go to gourmetexpo.com, gourmetexpo.com.
All right. Joshua Mitchell is an academic at Georgetown University, visiting fellow in American political thought, and he is the B. Kenneth Simon Center for Principles and Politics at the Heritage Foundation, the fellow there. He has written an interesting piece in National Affairs, nationalaffairs.com, which I'll tweet out, Why Conservatives Struggle with Identity Politics. why conservatives are so bad at confronting the identitarians that you saw on stage this week. Those 12, the AOC and other backbenching freshmen behind them, driving them really further and deeper into identity politics. We're pleased to welcome Josh Mitchell to the show. Josh, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, Dan. Glad to be here.
Thanks for joining us. And so you start out by presenting sort of the two different definitions of identity. One, rather innocuous, the one that's employed by the identitarians, less so.
Yes. So 30 years ago, those of us who remember, we would say, I'm an American, I'm a this, I'm a that. But now the word identity is everywhere we look. And if it just means, well, I'm an American, that's fine, except that I think what's happened is that identity now means something more. It's a relationship between those who are pure and those who are stained. And the name of the game in identity politics is to figure out how many purity points you have. And you set your purity points against the one prime transgressor, which is the white male heterosexual. And I want to be clear, I'm not defending, white identity. Trust me, that's not what I'm up to. What I'm saying is we have a sickness in America right now where the only thing that we're concerned about is how pure you are. And we saw this on the Democratic stage, everybody trying to out-pure each other. And my argument is what we should be doing instead is paying attention to building a world together. So I set up the contrast between the politics of innocence, which is what identity politics is all about, versus the politics of competence. And Americans are about competence and about building a world together, and that's where we need to go.
What about the victimizing themselves? Because everyone seems to try to garner votes by saying, well, I know what you're feeling because I too was, what Elizabeth Warren said, was fired because I was pregnant, which we know now that was not to be true. But do you think that they really are scoring points with the American public by becoming a victim or painting themselves as a victim?
I think that's the game they're playing. So my argument is that the Republicans were given a gift by Trump because he imploded the old Republican Party, and now we're in the process of rebuilding. The Democrats haven't figured out that identity politics among the mass of Americans is over, and Trump is going to win resoundingly because of this. The sick thing we have now in our country is that in order to be heard, we have to somehow have an innocence category. It's not about how competent we are, it's how innocent we are. And you simply cannot build a world if we're not concerned about competence. So we have to return to what I call the politics of competence.
Let me rewind for a minute. Trump blew up the Republican Party, the old Republican Party. Some Republicans want to go back to the halcyon days of a Mitt Romney and a John McCain and a compassionate conservative George W. Bush. Why was that a good thing, and why can't we go back?
So on my view, again, I'm old enough to remember what happened when Reagan took over the party in 1980. There was a group called the Rockefeller Republicans who thought, well, we'll put up with this guy for 4 years, and then we'll take back our party, and it never happened. And my view is, I have many, many friends who are neoconservatives, and I'm actually, while I was affiliated with Heritage last year, I'm actually out in the Middle East right now, and I've been there off and on for 14 years, helping to build universities. So I went to Iraq after the war, and I know what's there. I look it up. I was the chancellor of the American University of Iraq in Sulaymaniyah for 2 years. But my view is that we don't have any business spending blood and treasure in the Middle East trying to build democracy. Many of my students out there believe that constitutional monarchy is the highest political form. We have problems in Asia that we're going to have to face big time. So I think the Republican Party that was blown up had two parts of it. One was that free markets without concern with the middle class, that is no longer going to work. And the second part is democracy exportation abroad without regard to cost, both to us and to overseas peoples. That's gone too. So I think the new nationalism is very healthy. I think the return to the middle class is very healthy. And I think the new Republican Party will be built around that. There's still a lot of infighting. There's still people who believe in pure free markets. And even if that means the middle class of America is collateral damage, that's fine with them. That's a problem. I think that's over. So the Republicans are actually in a rebuild phase. The Democrats think they just didn't go far enough. They just need to keep going down, doubling down on identity politics. And Trump is for them the opportunity for every white person to demonstrate that they too are not transgressors. They're innocent victims. They hate Trump. They have to scapegoat Trump. So there's a profound kind of religious need to scapegoat in America right now. And the brilliance of America is that we've had all sorts of peoples come through, and they've let go of their national origins and decide they're going to be Americans and build the world together. And the left doesn't want to do that. They don't want to lose track of their identities. They want to double down on them. And they're not concerned with building a world with their neighbor. They're simply concerned with declaring to their neighbor how pure they are. Well, you can't build a country that way. So they will lose again.
Well, so here's the thing. You suggest that conservatives have responded quite poorly to the emergence of identity politics. But so if they've responded quite poorly, how is it that you feel the left is overreaching while conservatives are rebuilding the Republican Party? It would seem to me that those two things are in conflict. Yeah.
Well, I'll put it this way. So I live out on the eastern shore of Maryland, which is a fairly poor place. And I will put it this way. I think the American people as a whole, and certainly the flyover country, realizes that identity politics is a dead end. The thing that saddens me about the Republican Party is while the base has got its act together, that identity politics is over, the elites, the Republican Party, the thinking people who are writing stuff, they are still battling the old demons. So it's Marxism, and yes, there's hints of socialism coming out of the left. But the real enemy is not Marxism right now. The real enemy isn't multiculturalism right now. That's 1990s stuff. The real enemy is identity politics. And it frustrates me that they don't understand what it's up to, that it really is a politics of purity and stain. Marxism isn't a politics of purity and stain, and nor was multiculturalism. So I think we have to see this as a profoundly dysfunctional, it's frankly Protestantism in a new form. And I mean by that, what happened with the collapse of the mainline churches in America in the 1960s was that the category of purity and stain, which is a religious category, it's a theological category. Man is broken, man is sinful, he is stained, all of us, whether you're white or not, we all bear the mark of Adam, so to speak. What happened was the collapse of the mainline churches didn't mean the end of religion. There's all this talk about how America is now secular. It's not. It's the most religious country in the world. It's just we get our religion, namely our understanding of purity and stain, not in the churches anymore, but out in politics. So my argument is that what's happened in America right now is we have this religious awakening among the Democratic elites. They're concerned with purity and stain. Republican elites don't really get that. They want to treat it as some species of multiculturalism or whatever. We have to see this as a religious movement, as a very bad Christian religious movement. And I think conservatives who talk about religious values, this is the irony, they talk about religious values, they talk about religious liberty, but they don't see that right in front of them is this deeply distorted Christianity that is, on the one hand, as I said, concerned with purity and stain. On the other hand, is concerned with scapegoating. And if you're a Christian, you understand that the divine Son of God is the scapegoat who took upon himself the sins of the world. Well, what we have with identity politics is one particular group, the white heterosexual male, who's the scapegoat who takes upon himself the sins of the world. It's deeply distorted Christianity, and I don't think the intellectuals on the right fully understand that yet. There's a lot of talk about this American awakening. There's people out there who are getting hints of it, but I don't think anybody has yet fully nailed it.
But I mean, the suggestion you're making is that there's politics as religion, and so the martyrs are now these sort of propagators of identity politics, or their targets, or some combination of the two. So how does that play itself out if these folks? I mean, a good example is, let me see if I can formulate this with an example. Garrison Keillor this week said essentially, I was wrongly accused as sexually harassing anybody, but if it takes my career being destroyed by this false allegation to advance the larger goals of Me Too, then I'm willing to throw myself on the pyre. I mean, that's sort of a sense of martyrdom. Isn't that particularly pernicious and misplaced? I guess that's a distorted version of Christianity you're describing.
Yeah. So what's happened is, if you're certainly if you're a white male, and again, please understand me. I'm not saying, we need to defend white men. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the whole problem is the way we're thinking about this. White men have to show that they're pure. And so woke capitalism, for example, or men who double down on the feminist cause in order to show that they too they're not transgressors, they're on the side of the innocents. I mean, immense amount of psychic energy today is spent by especially the younger generation of white young people, white boys especially, trying to show that they're not transgressors because they walk into a room and they're labeled as impure. And so they have to somehow figure out a way to increase their innocence point. So they support green climate New Deals. They march for the Me Too movement. They're desperate to try to show the world that they're innocent. And this is a kind of sickness. The rule of law took hundreds and hundreds of years to develop. And the presumption in the rule of law is that we start by being innocent and we have to be proven guilty. Identity politics reverses that. So I'm out at Georgetown's campus in Qatar right now. There's a discussion among the students. They're trying to petition the faculty members to sign a petition at the beginning of each class, each semester, in which they say, we won't assault you. So the presumption is that men are rapists. The presumption is that men are rapists. Now, I want to be clear. In my HR documentation, I can get free saunas, I can get free mental health checkups, I get all these things as long as I acknowledge that I'm basically a rapist and I won't rape. I mean, this is the kind of sickness that we're faced with right now.
So then
the presumption of guilt.
Yeah. So that's a clear diagnosis. I get that. And then so what's the way forward that the sort of the new Republican Party, the new conservative movement is supposed to provide?
Well, I think out in the field, everybody knows that this is just ridiculous. It can't be that we're presumed guilty. So I think that's on the ground, people get this. The other piece of this puzzle, which we have not yet talked about, is that the Democratic Party has used Black America to do this. So there is an obvious wound that we're still suffering from in America. I think the Republicans are in a way wrong by saying, well, we don't have to worry about it. America's this pure country. And Democrats are absolutely wrong by saying America's this irredeemably stained nation. We still have this wound to be healed. My argument is that what happened was that the women's movement, the gay and lesbian movement, and more recently the transsexual movement has appropriated the moral mantle of Black Americans and said, see, just as civil rights goes to women's rights, that then goes to gay rights, that then goes to transgender rights. And so the whole thing is built upon the legitimate or the wound that we really do have to address. And I think in face-to-face relations we have to address this. But I think the only ones that can stop this in America are Black Americans. They're the ones who can stand up and say, you know what? Slavery did something that no other group had to go through. Namely, it destroyed families. Full stop. And that means there is a special case here that we have to address in America. And that means helping the least among us, both Black and white, to re-substantiate the generative family between a man and a woman. And everyone who comes from poor communities who's dug their way out knows it's the family and the churches that matter. So I frankly think that it's the African Americans who have the moral authority to say to the Democratic Party, no. The civil rights movement was one thing. However, it is another thing entirely to have all these other groups, all these other innocent, so-called innocent victims, carry the moral mantle of the African American community. So I think the only group that can stop it is Black Americans. And they still have the moral authority. I mean, they had it in the 1960s with Martin Luther King, and they have it now.
Very interesting. He is Professor Joshua Mitchell, professor of political theory at Georgetown University. And again, I'll tweet out his piece at nationalaffairs.com, which is obviously worth a read, Why Conservatives Struggle with Identity Politics. Professor, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, Dan. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time. Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Balance of Nature is now offering a 35% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This offer may end at any time, so don't wait to start Dr. Howard's Health Challenge. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, listen up. Is your child falling behind academically? Is he or she overwhelmed, distracted, or unable to focus? Does your daughter lack confidence? If so, it's not too late to consider the outstanding education and preparation for life that St. John's Northwestern Military Academy offers. For 135 years, St. John's Northwestern has prepared teens for college and beyond with a safe, secure, and structured environment free from distractions and optimal for learning. St. John's Northwestern attracts teens grades 7 through 12 who are capable of achieving more but need guidance and encouragement to get there. St. John's Northwestern inspires personal growth through a commitment to academics, spiritual and character development, athletics, and a strong foundation essential for critical thinking and decision-making. St. John's Northwestern is located in the beautiful Lake County region of southeast Wisconsin. It's within driving distance of Chicago. So visit the beautiful 110-acre campus during their open house, which is Friday, November 8th. Write it down. Friday, November 8th. They have an open house. To get more information, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 800-SJ-CADET. Or online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. Leadership lives here.
Hey everyone, Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, "Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue." If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson. You know, our listeners helped build MyPillow into the amazing company that it is today. And now MyPillow is giving back to our listeners. You can get deep discounts on all MyPillow products by going to MyPillow.com and clicking on the Radio Listener Specials box. I love these pillows, and you know you will too. So receive huge discounts on MyPillows, mattress toppers, my favorite, the Giza sheets, and more. For example, the body pillow that provides the perfect comfort and support for your entire body is regularly $89.99. But with the promo code Amy, it's only $29.99. All products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Go to MyPillow.com and click on the Radio Listener Specials box and get deep discounts on all products, including MyPillows for only $29.99. You'll get 30% off mattress toppers and deep discounts on Giza cotton sheets. That's MyPillow.com. Click the Radio Specials box and enter promo code Amy or call 800-489-0201. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Hi, this is Dan Frio with the Mortgage Update. Daily you hear guys on the radio going back and forth about how they're better than the other guy, and then you hear how their team can help you buy or refinance a home. But answer this, are they a direct lender who has the ability to approve, underwrite, and close your loan? I am. Are they a middleman who's at the mercy of another company? I'm not. When you call, do you speak with the person who's telling you how great they are? Or are you talking to a salesperson? Not me. You work with me personally. And last, I put my money where my mouth is. I offer an exclusive rate match program for those times when I don't have the best rate. So to work with me personally, call 844-775-LOAN That's 844-775-LOAN, or find me on the web at windmortgage.com. That's windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162.
I'm Gary Rabine of the Rabine Group and the podcast Ditch Digger CEO. One of my favorite things to do is golf at our exclusive Bull Valley Golf Club in Woodstock. Just 55 minutes northwest of O'Hare and 35 minutes south of Lake Geneva. 5 minutes from the Metro line. 250 acres of amazing terrain, oak and red pine forest, native prairie and marsh. It feels like you played 4 different courses in 18 holes. Golf Digest rated Bull Valley the 30th most challenging championship-style golf course in America. One of the best courses in Illinois, and the track the best golfers want to play. Good golfers, Bull Valley will make you great. Bad golfers like me, Bull Valley will make you better. A world-class staff and 2 amazing teaching pros, simulators, and a beautiful instructional range. I've got the greatest offer on the planet in private championship golf. If you live in or near Chicago, join our Chicago membership in the next 10 days and get 18 months for $2,500. You heard it, $2,500 to be a member until April 2021. Email Gary at bullvalleygolfclub.com and play championship golf tomorrow. That's Gary at bullvalleygolfclub.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy, who is
a Chicago teacher scab. He'll be educating your kids while they're out on strike.
We'll see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now here is Mike Scott.
CPS teachers are on the picket lines this morning. Addison teachers have voted to authorize a strike. Boxer Patrick Day dies just days after a match. Rich East High School in Park Forest will be closing.